Yeah, he's got the adapter for his back.
Yeah, not that far. We're not real quick. It's not actually that you gotta worry about. Just to keep it fairly safe. Years ago, to balance the water, he's taking fire on the drives.
Yeah, that's fine. That makes sense. Did you give them like my number or the Checo's number? Okay. I have had somebody call me like half a dozen times over the last 2 days saying, "Oh, we're getting voicemail." You're not trying very
So I'm surprised that they can see
Right, right, you have. Right. You over there,
Yeah, oh yeah, I'll say that.
Good evening. It's 7 o'clock. I'm going to call to order the Town of Winchester Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for April 27th, 2026. We'll start with a roll call from the left.
Scott Eisenhower.
Jan Perry,
Peter Marchand.
Willie Platt,
Adam Quabaroli.
Charlene Lavoy,
Rista Malaka.
John Cooney is absently excused.
Who are you gonna see?
Charlene hasn't been. Charlene, we're going to seat Charlene tonight in place of John.
that's
And now, on agenda review, I want to move old business 5A up to before the public hearing for 4B.
You gonna make that a motion?
Make that a move.
I'll second that.
Sorry, that was gonna be what?
We're going to move 5A before 4B. Okay, all in favor? Okay. Now, you have something for agenda review?
Yes, also under agenda review, we have a 824 referral regarding 281 Walnut Street. I recommend we make that new business item A and bump the regulation discussion for Public Act 25-1 to new business item B.
I'll move that.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Now, we open for public comment. If anybody has anything to say that's not, for something that's not on the agenda. I think most of you are for, okay. So now we're gonna go on to public hearing, I move to open public hearing PZ 26-3, applicant Roxanne O'Neill, location 150 Ashley Road, Zone RR, proposal special permit for home occupation, cottage food operation.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Okay. Are you here?
Yes.
All right, step forward.
Yeah, so I'm
Have
just
a
gonna
seat.
be baking and selling out of my home. I will be delivering the packages to my customers or mailing them, so it's not gonna have any impact on the street whatsoever.
Okay. What do you have to go through with the Board of Health to get one of these permits?
I had to go through the state of Connecticut,
Yeah,
Cottage Foods, and they approved everything, and then I had to do certain recipes and make sure that all the ingredients were in there, any allergies, like milk, soy, anything that a person would be allergic to.
okay.
So I have that.
Okay, board got questions? Anybody in the audience got any questions? No? All right, I move we
Close it.
close the public hearing, PZ 26-3, applicant Roxanne O'Neill.
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay. Now we're going to go on to old business, PZ -26-3, applicant Roxanne O'Neill, 150 Ashley Road, Zone RR, proposal special permit, home occupancy, cottage food operation. Do we have a motion to approve?
We have pre-written,
Do you have a draft motion?
Yes,
Oh, wait a minute, I think I have it here.
we do have one. I'm not getting anything to come up on the screen this evening, but I can read it out to you. Give me one moment.
I think I have it here.
You have it there, little?
Whatever.
To approve application 26-3, special permit. Owner Wayne and Roxanne O'Neill, address 150 Ashley Road. Proposal special permit for home occupation, cottage food operation. One, in evaluating this application, the Planning and Zoning Commission has relied upon the information provided by the applicant, and if such information subsequently proves to be false, deceptive, incomplete, or inaccurate, this permit shall be modified, suspended, or revoked. Two, this application is consistent with town and plans conservation and development. Three, this application meets the criteria and standards of section 415-24D, special permits with special exceptions.
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay.
You're all set, passed.
All set?
Yeah, good.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you so much.
Painless, huh?
I'll bring you some goodies next
Oh,
meeting.
there you go.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Just a second here. She don't have to sign it.
M-A-L-A.
Oh, she's got to sign it.
Oh. Okay.
No internet, huh? Last meeting I did, we had plenty of some videos.
Nothing funny about that.
That's okay.
Okay, now we're on to public hearings again. PZC -26-6, applicant Alexander Fortuna on behalf of the Forsaken Lands, location 32 Norfolk Road, Zone RR, special permit for commercial recreation.
How are
So
you?
it's all yours now.
Thank you very much. All right, let's see if I could get this. Do you want me to try to plug
Yeah, yeah.
this in? See if that works?
Keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah. All right, let me turn my screen on. Let's see what happens here. All right, anything there? The good news
Or
is,
it's just not shot.
if it doesn't, come up in the packets that I've provided everybody with, I have a hard copy of the slideshow.
Yeah, we may
So we
need
could
to
just-
refer to that.
That's fine, and I could go slide by slide. if
None of
it-
these connections are.
That's fine, yeah, we could go slide by slide. It's, the first packet. Actually, I
We're
believe
gonna have to
that's
throw
it.
a switch or something for
Mind
him?
if I take a look at it? Yes, this is it, yep. So that's the hard copy of the slideshow. I prepared for that just in case. Yeah.
Good job.
All right, how's everyone doing tonight? Good. Would that be okay?
No guarantee it'll work,
Fine,
but
I can try it too.
Okay.
yeah.
The horizontal one.
I believe it was the first packet in the first section of the packet. Right. It should start with request for permitted land use.
I believe.
Did you want me to email that
That
to you
one,
again?
Jan,
That-
in your
I
hand.
should be able to.
The one you just,
Okay.
Proposals for 30.
that one. Oh,
Thinking about it, yeah.
Is it?
Thinking about it.
Let's try it.
Oh, that's fine.
I got one of those too, but that's a different, oh,
I'd like to see it.
I wonder if I got two of them.
Got to do that file.
This is a repeat problem.
It was all stapled
That
together.
design drawings, that's
Tell us.
different,
yeah,
Got
okay.
that one somehow.
Oh, I see. It's in that
I'll
one.
be able to connect to that one because
Yeah.
it blinks sometimes.
You got enough
But
power
this is
there?
the first time we've had trouble with this one. So I'm not sure the board isn't working.
Yeah, I suggest we proceed analog. That's fine, that's fine, yeah, okay. All right, my name's Alex Fortuna. I'm the owner and operator of the Forsaken Lands Outdoor Haunted Attraction, currently located at 54 Bear Hill Road in Goshen, Connecticut. My home address is 264 Ridge Road, New Milford, Connecticut. Before I begin, I'd just like to please request that all documents I filed with my application and delivered to the zoning office, please be part of the official record, whether we review them individually, as part of this presentation or not. All right, so I'm here tonight because I believe our project proposed for 32 Norfolk Road presents a unique and valuable opportunity for the Winchester community. For the past several years, I've operated the Forsaken Lands Outdoor Haunted Attraction, seasonal recreation attraction located in Goshen, Connecticut. It's always been a dream of mine, my team's, to find a permanent home, a place where we can truly put down our roots. We aren't just a scary walk in the woods. We're a professional production specializing in immersive storytelling, technical theater, detailed set design, and most importantly, creating memories and contributions to the surrounding community and the community members. We chose Winchester because of its character, its natural beauty, artistic diversity, and its potential to host a premier fall tradition. I know that with any new project, there are natural questions about impact. I want to address those directly here tonight. The land. We are proposing to use a portion of the 63-acre site located at 32 Norfolk Road. This massive acreage provides a natural buffer that ensures our activities remain contained and respectful to neighboring property of others. Unlike a retail store, park, or a fair, we operate on a time ticketing entry system, as we have in all of our previous years. This allows us to monitor the flow of guests and ensure that all the traffic and foot traffic and capacity is appropriate and capable for the property, and operational efficiency and safety, of course. Furthermore, we're committed to full compliance with state and local ordinances, from fire and life safety codes to building codes. I've also I've met with the fire marshal as well, and been in direct contact with him and the building inspector to ensure that we're all set on that front as well. Stewardship. We fell in love with this land as soon as we saw it. Our goal is to maintain the natural wooded aesthetic of Norfolk Road and not to replace it with high-density development. So
Beyond the recreation and entertainment aspect of our operation, Forsaken Lands will bring many tangible benefits to the town of Winchester. We provide seasonal employment for local high school and college students and people of all ages. We're giving them a chance to learn skills in acting, lighting, theater, and hospitality. We don't just provide them with a job opportunity, we're providing them with a home away from home. A place filled with people, like-minded individuals who share a similar interest to ours. A place where we consider them more than employees, a family. Our guests don't just visit our attraction, they visit the surrounding community and the local establishments. They buy gas down the street, they get dinner, they get a drink at the local bars and local breweries. This will help put Winchester on the map as a fall New England attraction destination. A shared tradition. We want to be the reason people look forward to October in Winchester. We want to be a hub where local food trucks can set up and perform business, where our guests can create memories for years to come. My very dedicated team and I, some of who are in the audience with us today, have spent years building this business with integrity and focus on safety, quality, and community. Those are our 3 pillars. This is not a new endeavor for us. We have years under our belt of proven knowledge and expertise and bringing successful and beneficial operations to local community in Goshen. I'm not just looking for a permit. I'm looking to become a long-term member of this community. This is not just my business or my employees. There's a deeper meaning to me. In the moments that the gates of the Forsaken Lands open each night, seeing our guests share a laugh, seeing a once shy teenager find their voice and becoming a very entertaining scare actor, and seeing the town come alive in the fall. I feel a personal responsibility to provide a space where people can escape the everyday and make memories. That's the why behind everything that we do. And that's what I'm proposing to do. I'm here tonight to listen, answer any questions you may have, and hopefully earn your support in making Winchester.
Thought I muted that.
No worries. I'm here tonight to answer any questions, hopefully earn your support, and to help make Winchester the permanent home for the Forsaken Lands. Thank you for your time and consideration. And without further ado, I will get started on the first slide of our slideshow. So this slideshow presentation basically is a very in-depth summary of all of the pages on those 80-page packets that I gave each of you. This presentation is included in the packets and serves as a high-level summary in the proposal documents, which covers every detail of our planned operations in all aspects. So please feel free to stop me at any time with any questions along the way, and we'll go from there. Our request for permitted land use. The Forsaken Lands Outdoor Haunted Attraction, a premier Northwest Connecticut Halloween tradition. We're seeking a special permit for a commercial recreational establishment at 32 Norfolk Road. Located within the rural residential zone, this outdoor walkthrough experience will preserve Winchester's wooded character on the 63-acre parcel by utilizing the natural landscape with temporary structures. We're committed to being a recreational anchor that bridges the tourism gap between summer and winter, providing over 50 seasonal jobs for the locals and actively directing thousands of attendees to downtown businesses through partnerships and cross-promotions, as we have done in our previous 4 years in Goshen. To ensure community harmony, we utilize a strictly managed time ticketing entry system to contain all traffic on site and prevent local congestion of any kind. Our production features professional-grade controlled directional audio and low-shrouded shielded lighting to eliminate glare and any potential noise disturbance beyond the property lines. We look forward to working with the town of Winchester Fire Marshal, local law enforcement, and to create a safe, permanent home that contributes to the town's diverse economic landscape. So the proposed property, 32 Norfolk Road, the property ID is listed there as well. Rural residential zone, 63 acres. So I'm going to kind of run you through the customer experience here about what customers could expect when they visit the Forsaken Lands. Upon arrival at 32 Norfolk Road, guests will be guided down a gravel drive to a dedicated 1.2-acre on-site grass parking field. To ensure seamless flow, we utilize a timed entry ticketing system. Pre-booked guests bypass the ticket booth, which will be an 8-foot by 10-foot shed, to enter the main queue. where live actors and themed audio begin the immersive experience. Structures will stay up year-round for the purpose of us being able to maintain them and change the attraction each year to keep the experience fresh and unique to, drive customers to, have an incentive to come back. The attraction itself is a 25-minute walkthrough trail featuring open-air, floorless structures and stockade fenced paths that utilize the natural terrain. Powered by a self-contained diesel generator, tow-behind generator, we rent it from companies like Sunbelt. The trail will feature low-voltage LED lighting, animatronics, and live actors. After exiting, guests can enjoy free photo opportunities and local food truck refreshments before departing, ensuring a complete, contained, and memorable visit. So our operation. So this is going to kind of run everyone through our dates and hours of operation and how we staff the operation. We will operate on the last Saturday of September, Fridays through Sundays throughout October, then the first Friday and Saturday of November, anywhere from 14 to 16 nights per season. Per year, that is. That's the entire operation for each year. We will be open each night from 7 o'clock p.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. The last guests typically exit the property on an average between 10:15 and 10:30, with 11 o'clock being the absolute latest. That's on our very busiest nights, and I'm going to get to that a little bit further. We employ a number of scene supervisors, build crew members, makeup artists, ticket scanners, and actors each season. We will be reaching out to local high schools, theater organizations to provide their students and members with job opportunities that will give them experience in fields in which they aspire to have a career in. They will have an opportunity to become well-versed in a variety of these fields, and we will be creating approximately 50 seasonal jobs for the locals each fall. It's our goal to, of course, create even more jobs each year as the operation grows. Any questions so far? Nothing yet?
No.
All right. So location and local economic benefit. Over our past 4 years in Goshen, we've established a fall Halloween tradition that draws visitors from across Connecticut, eastern New York, and southern Massachusetts. Our attraction has served as an economic driver for host communities, increasing foot traffic and revenue for local businesses through partnerships, cross-promotions, and sponsorships. Haunted attraction industry data suggests that approximately 40% of haunted attraction clientele will combine their visit with either meals or drinks from local establishments. Furthermore, that data also indicates that for every dollar spent on a haunted attraction ticket, an additional 25 to 50 cents is typically injected into the local economy, again, via visiting restaurants, bars, gas stations, you name it. And to put that into perspective, our general admission ticket is $30, our Fast Pass ticket is $40. We plan to bring this same collaborative model to Winchester by attracting regional visitors who will support all of your local establishments. Our marketing will promote Winchester as a destination, introducing new audiences to the charm of the Winstead area. We're committed to using local vendors and services whenever possible, ensuring our presence directly benefits Winchester's economy and workforce. So, neighbors. A key factor in our site selection was fully mitigating any impact on neighboring properties. Due to the property's size, topography, and natural buffers, our operations will be both visually and acoustically isolated from the surrounding community. The nearest residence is over 1,500 feet away from the proposed area where we propose to operate the haunted attraction and parking area, while the closest neighbor on Route 44 is more than a mile distant, far exceeding most standard zoning buffers. This attraction is located within the natural basin, surrounded by mountainous and heavily wooded terrain that serves as a substantial sound and visual barrier. In addition to these natural protections, we employ directional sound aimed inward towards guests and shielded downward-facing lighting to prevent light spill. Together, distance, landscape, and technology ensure our operation will not impact the quiet enjoyment of Winchester residents. And to add to that, we also have sound test levels, decibel readings from our previous location, to further, prove those numbers.
On this map, Al,
Yes.
where's the neighbor?
So the neighbor is going to be, you see Forsaken Lands attraction logo in the info box
Yeah,
right there. Yep, in
that's
that
the
direction.
neighbor.
That would be the closest one,
Got it.
1,500 feet in that direction.
Okay.
Yep. A licensed on-site security team is present during all operating hours.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to.
3 guards monitor the property each night, includes bag checks, metal detector screening at entry, as well as patrols of the parking, queue, and attraction areas. Security staff communicate via two-way radios with management and staff, monitor guest behavior, and address any safety concerns. Disruptive or unsafe individuals may be escorted off the property, and local authorities will be contacted if necessary. This is a dry campus, no alcohol. We do not serve alcohol. We will not allow alcohol on the property. Lighting plan. To preserve a dark, immersive, haunted atmosphere, low-level, downward-focused LED lighting will be used throughout the attraction. Small shielded LED pin spots provide minimal scenic light along the trail, queue, and ticket areas while preventing light spill beyond scenic walls and fencing. String lights will illuminate the ticket booth area only. A shielded, downward-facing portable light tower will be used at the edge of the parking area to ensure guest safety while minimizing light impact on the surrounding areas. All attraction parking areas are also set back over 1,500 feet from the nearest residence, with dense wooded terrain providing light bleed from any neighboring properties. So to put this into perspective, our pin spot lights are literally the size of my pinky. And they're low voltage, 12 volt DC. And in the full proposal PDF document, it actually has a breakdown of how many lumens they give off, you know, the power that they draw and whatnot. So if, you know, you could see further detail on each of our, all of our lighting equipment. Okay, where were we here? Okay, sound plan. All speakers will also be located over 1,500 feet from the nearest residence, set at a low conversational volume level. Speakers are individually adjustable and aimed downward, inward to contain the sound within the attraction walls and fencing. No sound will be projected towards neighboring properties. Our generator will be a low hum unit enclosed with fence panels to reduce noise, and the dense forested buffers further limit that sound travel. No unreasonable noise will be produced by the attraction. We've taken, again, sound test levels with a decibel meter while the attraction was in operation. So to put that into perspective, you walk through the attraction where we're located at Great Acres Farm. When you walk out our exit path, about 50 feet or so, you can barely hear it. You continue on out to the parking area, you can't hear it. So our ticket sales plan and capacity. All Forsaken Lands tickets will be sold in half-hour time slots, starting at 7 o'clock p.m., ending at 10 o'clock p.m. We have implemented this time ticketing system so that we are able to control the amount of individuals on the property at any one given time. 85% of our tickets are sold online, if not more. We do accept walk-ins, however, those walk-ins are only available, the amount of walk-ins is only, you know, contingent on what we have left over from our online sales. So, and we have obviously a limited number per time slot. This reduces queue times, allows for efficient and safe flow of foot traffic throughout the attraction, and keeps the amount of cars in the parking lot to a manageable number in relation to the amount of parking spaces that we will have available. We'll have a sellout point of 1,050 tickets per night. That's the absolute cap.
Excuse me, sorry, really quick.
Yes.
So someone just messaged me saying that the meeting has no sound on the online. Just so you know.
There's, the mics are on, yeah.
Are they watching on YouTube or on the public access channel?
It's great when it works well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
when it works.
Modern technology at its finest, right? You want me to just continue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, all right, so we'll have a sellout point of 1,050 tickets per night. Therefore, each half-hour time slot, there will be a total of 150 tickets available. And again, this is on an absolutely fully sold-out night. There will be both general admission and fast pass tickets available for each half-hour time slot. There will be 100 general admission tickets and 50 fast pass tickets available for each time slot. The only tickets that will be, again, available at the booth for walk-ins will be the guests the tickets remaining for each time slot that did not sell online. We made the Fast Pass tickets available to, offer our guests reduced, wait time in line, just as any other, entertainment operation would. Disney, Six Flags, typical Fast Pass ticket, that'll reduce their wait time by 50%, also expediting the process of getting that portion of the customers through the attraction and on their way even quicker. So our parking plan.
Now, let's go back to the ticket sales.
Yes, sir.
So you've got 150 tickets for every half hour, correct?
On a sellout night.
On a sellout night.
Yes, yep,
You have 150 parking spaces.
correct.
You're gonna have a food truck.
Yes.
So how are you going to make sure that your customers exit the property in a timely manner? If you have
Absolutely,
a food truck
yeah.
there
Yeah, absolutely.
to keep them there.
Yes, so on the next slide, I'm actually gonna touch a little bit on that. So they spend an average of 45 minutes on the property. Now, that includes the 25 minutes inside the attraction. Our queue times, the waiting line to get in, very minimal. So we've done this for, like I said, like four years. We've had food trucks on the property, photo ops, and that's the number that we have hit right on the money is 45 minutes. Even after going through the attraction, when they get food, it's usually, a quick snack. They don't have the intention of sitting around all night. That's not our goal. We have picnic benches, they get their food, they go. And honestly, I'd say, you gotta remember too, not all of the guests that are coming in for each time slot are getting food. We have a very large portion that just walk right by those food trucks, because it depends on the customer. They may be looking for a quick bite. They might be looking to go to a bar or local, restaurant after. So that has never really played a factor in taking up parking spaces. So typical attendance on an average night ranges from 300 to 400 guests. That's on an average night, not on a slow night, not on a busy night. And most of these guests arrive in groups of 3 to 4, carpooling. It's just how it is in our industry. Again, like I mentioned before, it's not like a Stop and Shop or your typical storefront where people are one person per car. They're carpooling. So with that being said, on a sellout of 1,050 guests, we expect approximately 300 cars over the course of the entire evening, with about 115 cars parked at any one time. The turnover is very, very efficient. Now, we have parking staff as well that will make sure that, they know where to go. Boom, as soon as they get into their car, they're directed right out. So it's a well-oiled machine.
Somebody scary chases them out?
No, we can't do that. I mean, we could if that's, if that'll make it go, that'll speed up the process, right? But the chainsaw will get them going.
That's all, just chase them with it.
That's it, yeah, right to the car door and they're out, right? The food trucks might not be happy though. So the 1.2 acre grass parking field will accommodate approximately 152 vehicles. The entry driveway, over 350 foot long, can queue at least 16 cars without impacting Route 44 at all. Combined with time ticketing, our parking plan ensures smooth flow of traffic and eliminates parking backups. So we have a nice long queue, before any cars could even have the chance of being backed up on Route 44. So to put that into perspective, at our previous location, we've never had a line longer than four cars waiting to get onto the property, just because that turnover, of parking spaces is so quick. And something I also want to touch on is that we have those half-hour time slots so that all guests in that time slot can experience it. That's not saying that every guest that walks through this thing is going to be spending a half hour in the attraction. We have some guests that'll turn it into a 5-minute experience because they're so scared they'll dart right through and they'll be gone. So that also helps. But yeah, it all depends. People ask me all the time, how long does it take to walk through? I said that depends on the pace that you walk. So it could be 10 minutes, could be 20 minutes, could be 25, right? So at least one CPR EMT trained team member is on duty each night with first aid kits and fire extinguishers available throughout the attraction. The emergency response plan is obviously a lot more extensive than what I'm gonna go over briefly here. In the design and life safety plan, that's in the full proposal PDF, all the details are there. Review that with the fire marshal as well. Emergency exits, lighting, and evacuation plans are in place and reviewed with all team members before opening. We have our training with our team members 2 weeks before opening night, and they are all going to be well versed in our emergency response protocols, and that goes way beyond fire, evacuation. That goes from power outage to active shooter to you name medical emergency. We cover it all. Flow managers and area supervisors manage guest movement to prevent overcrowding and ensure rapid assistance if needed. In an emergency, we call 911. In security, or management coordinates traffic and guides emergency vehicles to the emergency vehicle access point, which is a coned off area in our parking field that will be dedicated to only emergency vehicles. No foot traffic, no vehicle traffic can go through there at any time. That's specifically allocated for emergency vehicle. The trail layout allows for quick access for emergency response, and a turnaround area at the EVAP accommodates large vehicles like fire trucks and ambulances. And then we also, throughout the attraction itself, behind the scenes, we have a series of emergency walking trails as well. Again, went over all of these egress requirements with the fire marshal and ensured that our layout, meets all of the, codes and requirements. It's very compact design, so that if myself or one of our managers needed to get from one side of the attraction to the other, could do it in 2 minutes.
What about wild animals?
They don't like the noise. They're too scared of us. They don't like the noise. And we make sure we remove all the ears from the corn stalks before we bring them on site. No raccoons.
Where you were in Goshen, though, you were in an enclosed area, right? At the wildlife?
At Action Wildlife, yeah. So that was Action Wildlife.
A lot of wildlife up there.
It wasn't actually. We were set far back away from any of the animals because obviously we didn't want to upset the animals.
Right.
We bordered woods, and I think now the property beyond Action Wildlife is owned by Eversource, I think now, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but it's acres and acres and acres of woods. So it's not real. We weren't enclosed by fence or anything like that.
I think you're gonna address it on the next page, but bears love garbage, so.
Oh, I'm going to address that, don't worry. Customers spend an average of 45 minutes on the property, including 25 minutes in the attraction, which means a maximum of about 350 guests on site on a sellout night of 1,050. Portable restrooms will be available for guests, and staff will clean them daily, emptied regularly after each weekend by the portable restroom service, and lit with battery-powered interior lighting. Garbage cans will be placed throughout the property with all waste collected and removed from the site each weekend for off-site disposal. Jeff, I know we also spoke about us having a dumpster on site as well, so we've, in the site plan as well, you'll see we actually will have a dumpster on site as well, and we will be very diligent about making sure that that doesn't stay full. So on the next page, you're going to see some drone shots of our previous setup. This was at Action Wildlife. Obviously, last season we operated at Great Acres Farm, but this was back in 2023, an overhead shot. You could see how we construct our sets. Again, no roofs, no floors, strictly wall panels, and a lot of scenic design on the inside. Fences. It's beautiful. Number one, no permanent structures, very easily maneuverable if we want to change it the following year, modify it, which is obviously very important.
Slow down for a second.
Yes.
What are we're looking at the overhead shots, and
Yes.
they're in part of what document?
Yeah, that one right there.
I printed it up, so.
Oh,
I
you
apologize.
printed
They
it.
might not have been attached. I'm sorry. If you go to the,
You got us like 65 million pages here.
I'm sorry about that. I apologize. If you go to, let me see, that should be on the design drawings document. It should be, might not be in the, it should be in the design, not in that one, in the design drawings document, on the back page. Yep, on the back pages there. Those are, yep,
Design drawings.
yep. Sorry, I threw a lot at you. I apologize.
Yeah, there's the overhead shot.
That's it, correct. Yep, all in one page there. Yep, so those are the drone shots.
So these were set up from your last place?
Correct.
Oh,
This
actually,
was-
these are
That was 2023.
23.
Yep, obviously it's grown since then, but again, the style and way we design everything remains the same. So again, no floors, no roofs, no foundations, strictly wall panels, braced overhead by 2x4s and 2x3s to ensure for structural stability. And we've also touched base with the fire marshal and building inspector. They request that we, put rebar into the bottom sill plates of the wall panels to anchor them into the ground. We still have to touch base on the details with that. I believe they said every 12 feet or so. That's, further to be discussed, but very strong, very stable design. And again, as you could see, they exit on any side at any time. They can get out very easily without any obstruction of egress.
And that remains year-round, or do you do that?
This all remains year-round, correct. Yep, and obviously our sound systems, our lighting systems, our, electronic, all of our wiring is outdoor grade. So we don't have to go redoing the electrical every year. Obviously, our animatronic props, our pneumatic props that move, made of latex, we take all of that in, but all the scenic furniture, everything else, that all stays out throughout the year. And you can see we have an 8x10 shed there located in the middle as well. That's what we use for our costume and makeup storage and prep for our staff.
You mentioned no permanent structures. You
Yes.
mentioned that it'll be powered by portable generator.
Yes.
And the lighting, what about the wiring?
Yeah, so basically, in the design and life safety plan,
Is that all outdoor rated components?
yeah, so the
Conduits,
diesel generator, it's a job site generator, it's meant to be outside. Then we will have our electrician come in and he will be putting together, again, I believe I have pictures of that in the design and life safety plan, our distribution breaker panel, again, outdoor grade. It will then branch off to the individual branch circuits with UFB sunlight resistant feeder cable. So that's designed to be outdoor. That will go overhead, attached to either posts or trees, whatever's, in that area that we're trying to reach with eye hooks. And we'll be using aircraft cable as well, or the messenger wire, some call it aircraft cable, messenger wire. Zip tying those runs to that aircraft cable to ensure nice firm support. Then it drops down to each of the locations where the outlets will be. They are weather rated, outlets, wet resistant with the bubble cover, the weatherproof bubble, and all of the breakers in the panel are GFCI protected. So everything is 100%, outdoor rated. Yes, so that's our power setup. And then the layout, if you're in that same packet there, if you flip a few pages before the drone shots, you should see, or it might even be in the beginning, don't quote me on that, just look either in the beginning or the back. We have our full attraction layout as well.
Right side the front page.
Yeah, it might be, yeah. So this I've already reviewed with Mr. Legassi, Fire Marshal. So this is an actual layout of what the attraction will look like with full dimensions. That shows fire extinguisher locations, emergency light locations, the generator location, all egress routes, and so all detail of how the attraction will be designed and the footprint that it will accommodate.
Would you have any future aspirations of expanding this, or is this like?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely, yes.
So
Definitely.
that would be more traffic, more everything.
Yes, so and as we grow in correlation with that, we will expand on parking, we'll expand in. Now our ticket sales threshold at this time, we don't plan on expanding the sellout point of 1,050 for quite some time. We don't see a need for that. But again, if there's more traffic, more customers each night, it's still going to remain within that 1,050 on a night, 350 cars throughout the whole night. Our parking lot right now can already accommodate for our maxed out night. So it's, even if we grow it to as big as we can, we're prepped for it now. Yep. And the footprint of the attraction, of course, we want to modify it every year. We want to make it, longer. We want to change it because guests aren't going to want to come to see the same show 2 years in a row, right? So those are all factors that we took into account.
It's
And
not gonna grow indefinitely.
what's that?
We mentally have already, we set a goal, sorry, I'm kind of the right hand.
That's great.
We set a goal for how long we eventually want to make it, but that's like 10 years down the road. That's
If
not.
you're gonna speak, why don't you come up here and identify yourself and have a seat? Sure.
This isn't something that
What's your
we are.
name?
Christine Salvati, I'm from South Windsor. I'm Alex's girlfriend. I've been in the industry about 13 years now.
That's all right, so just tell us about what you want to talk about.
This is not something we plan to grow indefinitely. We don't want to become some mega operation. That's not the goal. We want to get big enough to live comfortably, because the bigger you grow your business, the less personal life you have. So,
It's true.
it's
It's
true.
a true statement.
It's true, especially in a business like this. So,
Yes. So you will also see the site plan attached on the legal piece of paper there. Yep, that's it. So our site plan maps out the location of the grass parking field, our food truck area, where we will have the food truck staged, the haunted attraction area, our proposed driveway. So the existing driveway that's there right now is the one that goes straight from Route 44, cuts right up the center of the property and goes to the existing cell tower. We have another driveway, as you can see, that's tailing off from that.
So
leading
let's go back
Yes.
to your site plan here.
Yes.
You have your evacuation plan?
I do.
We talked about that yet? Or you skipped over that, or what?
so
Because
that
we're all
is-
fumbling through these drawings.
I'm sorry.
We're all fumbling through these drawings.
Okay, yeah. I
So-
can pull up the evacuation plan right now. Did you want me to go through the narrative of it, or would you like to see the drawing of it?
Well, I think we understand the narrative, but if
Okay.
it's quick, go ahead.
Yep. Okay, so, I mean, I can summarize it. Let me pull it up here. 1 second, please. We want design and life safety plan. Okay. So. Okay, fire. So, upon discovering a fire, our staff are immediately going to notify an area supervisor. Area supervisors, security, ticket booth staff, parking staff, myself, Christine, all of our mobile managers, as we call them, have two-way radios. So, line of communication very strong. The supervisor nearest to the breaker panel or the midway point will press one of our 2 emergency stop button locations that will immediately deactivate everything. All of the attraction audio, all of the pneumatics, all of the fog, everything will stop immediately. Emergency lights will come on, and we will then carry on our evacuation procedure. All staff will, of course, actors will break character, gathering all guests within a 50-foot radius of their area, while we each of the managers do a sweep of the perimeter of the attraction, so we cover all potential areas that guests may be at that time. And then they will then proceed in that packet there. I think it's probably the one right behind the layout that we were just looking at. It will have an evacuation plan. And you'll see the egress routes as, the lines going around the perimeter of the attraction. Each of the emergency exits, which are located every 50 feet of travel, empty out into the primary egress arteries. And those will then go straight up through the queue area and then into the assembly area, which will be the food truck area. That's our open area where the picnic benches will be. That's where we will then carry on with our accountability procedure. At that time, while all this is going on, of course, emergency personnel will be directed in from Route 44 from our security staff and our parking staff. We'll hold traffic from coming in, we'll hold traffic from leaving, so that they have a clear route to come straight into the evap.
Curious.
Yes.
I've been looking at that a little bit too as well.
Yeah.
And it seems though like a more direct route would be a secondary, maybe emergency exit or entrance, going straight from, let's say, inside the gate,
Yep.
right towards the food truck area. Was that considered?
It was considered, but I want to make sure I phrase this correctly. So right when you come in, if you were to take a right-hand turn, it's a very steep grade going down and very rocky. So we've considered that, but I don't think it's going to be too feasible. Like I said, I went over this with Mr. Legassi. He didn't have any concerns of it. But we have considered that, but just due to, design and terrain constraints, that would be extremely difficult.
So
It
what's,
looks like
go ahead.
maybe a little more steep than your regular entrance from, I guess just from the contour maps you provided.
Yeah, it's a little more steep. So
Not substantially
No,
more steep.
yeah.
So basically, you're gonna see with our entrance that we have right now, it curls.
Yep.
Right? So that helps a lot with the grade. It's not traveling with the grade. Whereas there, if we were to go make that immediate right and go down, it's, straight down and in. Yeah. So that's the big difference. That's why we designed the driveway there as it is.
So the site where your attraction's gonna be,
Yes.
is it open now? Is it forested?
No, it's wooded right now. So did you get to review our landscape management plan?
No, let's just talk about this right now.
Okay.
So, you're going to be clearing this site
Yep.
to put this in?
Yes.
Is it flat, is it angled?
It's flat.
Hillside?
Yep.
Okay.
So
And how far past your attraction are you going to clear?
So the attraction area itself is about 150 feet by 150 feet for this year's design. We will then be clearing out, and honestly, minimal clearing for that. We want to keep as much vegetation as possible, just enough so that we could put our, let's call them modules, each of our scenes, build it into the vegetation.
All right,
So,
okay, so now you've got your emergency exit doors,
yes.
and how much of a cleared area are you gonna have from the outside of your modules
Yep.
for emergency exit?
We're looking at 6 feet.
6 feet, and your doors are how wide?
4.
4, so they're gonna open up and they're gonna block your emergency exit. When the doors open, they're gonna block people from coming down, so that means either people are gonna get trapped inside.
And that's, the other thing with that too is that they're not all gonna be used at the same time. Now, you have the
We don't know
interior. Okay,
They could be.
okay,
I mean,
that's fine.
I watch too many 911 shows on TV.
Yep, yeah. So, and again, I'm not saying 6 feet is the number I'm married to. We could go 10 feet. We could go 15 feet. We could, whatever.
So, yeah.
That's
so
not
what-
set in
What I'm
stone.
looking at is a potential blockage here with the doors opening.
Yeah.
And then the people trying to get out, gonna close the doors, keep people trapped inside. If they're, God forbid there was a fire. This stuff is gonna be outside, weathered and all that stuff. It could just go up fast. So, I'm looking at, you need more space on the outside, especially if you've got somebody inside the attraction in a wheelchair.
Yep.
You're gonna have to get them out
Absolutely.
and around, out the door and.
Yeah, and that's, that's, if you're more comfortable with a bigger buffer on the outside, totally fine. And some,
I think it's a safety hazard myself. You
Okay.
don't.
I mean, so.
It's nice to have it built into the wood so it looks good and all that.
Yeah.
But you're talking somebody's potential life.
That's,
You
yeah.
know, a theater door being blocked, you can't get out.
Yep, that's totally understood. So to put into perspective, at Great Acres Farm, we had, what would you say, 15, 20 feet? 15, 20 feet on the outside, if that's what.
Pictures or?
That's Action Wildlife.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, on the outside, you're probably looking at the same thing on the outside.
We could we could drive a truck around.
We drove a
that
truck,
wide.
and that's the goal. We want to be able to drive our trucks around there to, maintain and work on the attraction anyways.
The other thing to think of is that very few of these emergency exits are actually doors. Most of them are curtains.
It's a
They're
mix.
not- They're
Curtains,
curtains.
curtains.
Very few are actual doors.
Well, they show doors here.
There's both. There's a mixture of both. There's
They
doors
don't
and
show
curtains.
they show doors.
I'm sorry?
That's what, they don't show curtains, they show doors. That's why I'm questioning.
Yeah, no, that was the 2023 design. We moved in the direction of curtains a little bit more since then.
This is the design you presented us.
I'm sorry.
This is the design you presented us.
Are you looking at the
tonight.
drone shots or?
No, I'm looking at
No,
the,
that, in the.
Oh, that one. Okay,
Yeah.
it
okay.
doesn't
So,
show curtains, it shows doors.
so if you'd like, I could go in and label which ones would be curtains and which ones would be doors.
Well, I just think it's a potential problem if you don't have enough clearance around the outside.
Okay, that's
You know.
and like I said, if we could do at whatever you are comfortable with, we will
I
make
think
sure.
that's gonna be for the fire chief to decide probably.
Yeah, and we reviewed that with him. We went through everything. We went through egress. We went through emergency response protocols. He didn't have any concerns at this time.
No, that was the fire marshal.
I'm sorry.
That was the fire
That
marshal.
was the fire
Fire
marshal.
chief's a different person.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it. Got it.
He's the guy who drives the trucks.
I see.
He and
He's
his
the guy that
team.
brings the trucks.
Right.
Got it. Got it. Yep.
We can bring that up with him though, also.
Yep. So, and we also spoke with the fire marshal around the outside. So whether we do, like you'd mentioned, that 10, 20-foot buffer, whatever you'd like. We are also gonna have stakes with caution tape around the outside so that it defines the egress path. So that when they come out, they just don't go straight into the woods, they know where to go. So they're all funneled in the right direction.
Okay. We can continue.
Yeah, no, that's the gist of the emergency response plan. Like I said, in the design and life safety plan, it goes a lot more in depth than that. So yeah, I've completed the slideshow. Does anyone have any other questions at this time? I'm happy to go further in depth with any other areas, yeah.
Have you ever had an emergency situation while you've been in business?
No, we have not. We have had no evacuation, no full evacuation scenarios. We've had a couple medical emergencies where guests, were too scared, were having trouble breathing, and we've had a few of those, not many.
But no ambulances for any of that.
Right. So we had one actor who needed an ambulance one time. But yeah, so we've had medical emergencies. We haven't had anything further than that.
Anybody else got any questions at this time?
I'll do a softball one.
Sure.
You mentioned what attracts you to Winchester Winstead.
Sure.
Were there any, I guess, complaints, if we were to look and see in Goshen, if you had any noise complaints, pollution
Yes.
complaints?
So-
Just curious, were there any, and then what are you doing to mitigate those risks?
Absolutely. So at Action Wildlife,
They're buying up in Winstead where there's nobody around them, right?
yes,
that's where we
that was the primary choice. That was the primary reason for that site selection, if I'm being honest. It's quite remote.
Out
But at Action Wildlife, we had none in our 3 years. At Great Acres Farm, we did have one neighbor who was a little bit upset with our operation being there. I'm going to be 100%.
Where's that?
I'm sorry.
Great Acres Farm.
So that's also in Goshen. So that's
different spot.
on 63,
Yeah.
right before the fairgrounds, about a mile or so before the fairgrounds.
So how far was that neighbor from your attraction?
Quite close.
We were-
We were riding the property line. He was about 200, 300 feet from all the activity. So he was right on top of it.
Our main hub area was just at the edge of his property.
Correct.
line. Yeah.
So
Correct.
you're actually at the edge of people's property here too. Keep saying you're 1,500 feet away from the house. You're closer to the property.
Yeah, and so our decibel meter ratings that we've taken were at the property line. So we ensure that those numbers were, of course, appropriate.
What were your decibel meters?
I believe they were
What were your
50.
readings?
At peak, they were,
So-
you took them.
Like I said, our hub where we were playing music in the hub, there was a 6-foot fence, and on the opposite side of that 6-foot fence, the neighbor's property line started about 2 feet, 3 feet behind that fence. I went behind the fence, and that's where I measured with the decibel meter, and it was 50. So for reference, average conversation is 60. So.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll just say, I don't have any questions, but I did go when it was Action Wildlife.
Okay.
It was so much fun.
Thank you.
It was
Appreciate it.
so well organized.
We appreciate that.
I think the parking was really seamless. And was that a smaller parking lot than what
That
you're-
was small.
That was-
That was,
yes.
it seemed like a small parking lot, but it was really, there was no issues there. And from a noise standpoint, when we pulled in and parked, we didn't hear anything. We were almost like, are we in the right place?
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah.
walked up and you could start to see the lights, and as you got closer, you could hear it, but we were really like,
And that's all because of like I said, you have, your 2 wall panels that meet here. They're 8-foot wall panels. The speaker's mounted facing down and in. It's contained within those. Right, and we didn't have trees at Action Wildlife either between there and the parking area.
and then, I don't know if this would be your same plan, but at the time, there was food trucks, but they were like, I don't know, churros or like popcorn, or it wasn't
Yeah.
like, you're gonna order and sit.
Which we don't
and-
want that.
Right, it was
We
kind of
don't
fast
wanna go.
moving,
Right.
and so, I think that. So I think that, so I had a great experience. I think that was
Thank you.
everything you're saying there. I can see how it would translate to this.
Thank you.
And I do think, as an economic developer, this type of thing, and similar to Lime Rock or to, the fairs that we have in the area, are drivers and do help support local businesses. So I don't have any questions, but just kind of wanted to tell my experience.
Thank you. I appreciate that, thank you.
You didn't tell us if it scared you.
It was pretty scary.
We did our job then. We did our job.
It was fun.
We did our job.
So your parking lot's gonna be created too, you guys gonna, that's not existing, so you're gonna have to go in there and
Clearing.
clear it and
Yes.
all that.
Yes, sir.
From the parking lot down to the attraction,
Yes.
what's the grade like?
From the parking lot to the attraction, that path that connects them,
Yeah.
nice and flat.
Nice and flat?
Nice and flat.
Kinda hard to believe there's flat ground over there. Looking at it from
You're
the
not
road.
going down a hill or anything like that. Obviously, it's wooded trail.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
you know, we're not talking any hills or, you know, mountain type topography. And obviously, we will be grading that as well. You know, we'll have machinery out there and ensuring that it's safe.
There's actually old logging trails.
That's
from
what
the-
that-
No, we're actually, it's already flat.
That's how we picked
That's
that
where we
spot
picked
for that
it.
path.
Oh,
There's,
okay.
yeah,
Are you leaving the parking area grass?
grass.
Or are you
Yep.
gonna- okay.
So that's how we had it located at Great Acres Farm. I mean, and you know, you look at fairs, you know, concerts, carnivals, anything like that. It's you know, temporary seasonal use for 14 to 16 nights. So yeah, grass surface.
So,
Remain pervious, we'd like to hear, right?
I'm sorry.
Remain pervious, won't be impervious, have runoff.
No,
No,
it'll.
no, it's yeah.
As part of, I think you touched upon it a little bit too, as part of this permit, you're gonna be clearing more than an acre of land. Normally, if we're clearing land over an acre, I think you need a special permit for that. I think, Jeff,
Yes, I'm sorry.
for the amount
Side
of land we're
conversation
clearing here,
Yeah.
we're also authorizing them to clear that land. Is there gonna be like a soil erosion plan for any of that activity, as part of this permit?
I would say that they're gonna have to do some
Yeah.
erosion sedimentation controls around the site as they go.
Silt
Yeah, depending on
fencing and
how,
whatnot.
depending on how much you have opened up at one time, if you're doing stumping and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we plan to do it in phases.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, for the attraction area itself, it's not, we're not clearing that whole area. We're literally nestling the.
Underbrush is coming out.
Correct. We're gonna have a skid steer go through, and we'll be cutting down trees with chainsaws for that, for
We
the
don't
attraction
wanna,
area.
we kinda wanna,
We
the
wanna
goal
keep
is
as
to
much as
cut
we can.
as few as we can.
Yeah.
I think with something like this, as they go, you know, I think we'll be in touch with them, I think a lot, and I think the building official, the fire marshal are gonna have to be up there as the thing
course.
gets built out, so.
And I spoke
You
with
know.
Mr. Legassi about that. I
Right,
told him, please come, you know, at any time to, you know, peek in, look at the progress, see what you think.
Yeah, so in terms of ENS controls, we'll just kinda have to work the site as they work the site, you know?
so, looking at your
How
site
do
plan,
we cover that, the parking permit?
So I have a suggestion in there that, you know, that I think this thing should have a yearly zoning permit in addition to its overall special permit from you, that there should be a yearly zoning approval. And we could do, the first one could address ENS controls when they come in for that initial CP, we can address it that way.
You do have wetlands that are down.
Yeah, it's outside the regulated area, but you're right, it's 130 feet away or something, yeah.
And it's above them.
Yeah.
so, you have your emergency vehicles up at the parking lot,
Yes.
but you have food trucks down in that little circle.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be, is that something that you could have an ambulance come down there? Could an ambulance come
So
down there?
that path, that dirt path from the EVAP to the food truck area is 20 feet wide for that purpose. And then they could pull in and make that turn, yeah.
So I have a question for staff. So were the legal notices all posted in the newspapers for this? And were the abutters all notified by mail and they all received it? Nobody had any comments or anything?
Yeah. Well, everything was sent out, no comments received.
Okay, all right.
Is there already a gate on the access road to the
The
cell
existing-
tower?
There is, yeah, for the cell tower management company, there's a gate there.
It's past the point where you're gonna turn off, or you have to put, or do they have, or you have to put in a gate?
That gate's already there. Yeah,
Yeah, that gate's at the end of the state property.
right,
Where it is.
correct.
So,
Well,
I can, do you want me to show it to you? I can show it. It's
Yeah.
not
Gate
clear.
there.
That's the one.
alright, are you
but
gonna,
how about,
you have to put a second gate?
yeah, how about
We
to the
don't-
spur?
We don't feel the need to put one there. I mean, the only people that will be on site there aside from us,
But I
will be
mean,
the
how do you
cell.
keep the public from, oops, going that way?
Oh, I see what you're saying, from
Yeah.
going up.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, we're
It's-
temporary barriers. We're gonna have
Okay.
cones and temporary barriers. We cannot put a permanent gate there because we can't impede the access at like any time. That's
Yes,
part of
yes.
the easement.
Right.
So they need to have 24-hour,
Right.
24/7 access to the cell tower, so we would be putting temporary barriers. Yep,
We're gonna have directional signage.
right.
Yeah,
Obviously.
yeah,
Directional
but you
signage,
know,
correct.
when you're dealing
People
with the
are-
public.
yeah.
People
you
are
know,
people.
People
That's
are
it.
Where are we? Cell
Yes.
tower. I mean, that cell tower is pretty scary anyway.
Yeah, we've been up there.
The hike to the
Yeah.
cell tower is scarier.
Yeah,
I
it
wanna
is.
see it.
The Pine Tree Cell Tower, yeah.
It's steep.
Yeah.
It's steep up there.
Yeah, that's the real scary stuff.
Any other questions from anybody?
Yeah, you've got a letter from DOT allowing you the use of that right away.
Yes.
Did they explain to you that you're gonna need a DOT permit to widen that driveway on their property?
So that part will not need to be widened, it's already 20 feet wide.
It's
So,
20 feet all the way back to the state, end of the state property.
correct.
Okay.
So
but
from the
on one of
road-
your drawings, it shows 12 feet, so.
I'm sorry,
On one of your drawings, it shows 12 feet.
which drawing is that? Let's see.
Uh-oh. Now you gotta find it.
This one right here.
Let me see. No, that's, so this one right here?
Yep,
So that's culvert.
okay.
That's a 10-foot
That's a
culvert.
culvert,
Yes.
okay. So it's 20
Yep.
feet wide all the way, okay.
So wait a minute,
Now-
10-foot culvert
No, there's a culvert in there in the state right away.
And state right away.
what'd you say it was?
10 foot long.
It's 20, the access that's currently there, it's
No, it's
a,
a 15-inch culvert.
or, yeah.
Yeah, 15-inch diameter.
I was gonna say, it can't be a 10-inch
No.
10-foot culvert
No, it's
with
15-inch.
a 20-foot road.
Yeah.
But yes, the existing driveway that's there is 20 feet wide.
It's 20 all the way.
Yep, 20 all the way. And I explained that to the DOT, there's no work that will need to be done in the state right away.
There, right away, yep. You don't envision running electricity to your property instead of using the diesel generator?
Not in the
seeing that
foreseeable
there's-
future.
That there's power to the
No.
cell site? Okay.
Not in, I mean, maybe long
Yeah,
term.
no, I just wondered.
But
'Cause
not
I
in the
know they run
foreseeable
power up
future.
to the cell site several years ago.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I've spoken with Eversource about that as well. You know, there's that, you know, the potential is there for us to tap into
Yeah,
that power.
sometime if you, in
Yeah.
the future, you have that availability then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody in the audience have any questions? Or are you all part of it?
Yeah. I believe, looking at the site map that we have, we're very familiar, we're an adjacent property, probably quite close.
Okay.
Maybe one of the 1,500 feet individuals.
Okay,
So there's a few concerns that I have.
sure.
Even though Halloween's my favorite holiday, coming from an adversarial place.
Sure, yeah.
Why don't you come up here by the microphone so everybody can hear you?
Yeah,
and
would
the
you like us
recording
to-
can hit you, and then identify yourself.
Yeah.
You can stay there and maybe address his question.
I'm gonna just leave this.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
What's your name?
My name is Cosmos Heitman. My wife and I own the property at 223 Coe Street, which is, if you're looking, because I can't see exactly where the proposed clearance site is, I suspect it's there. Yep, okay, so we butt up against the property right there.
Right here. Okay.
So, a few concerns. One of them, and maybe you mentioned something about this, about a yearly zoning review or something like that. There's talk about, you know, potential future expansion. Where's the oversight on that? Where does that come from?
Right here.
But, so that's under review on an annual?
Any
annual
future
basis?
expansion would have to come back to this board
Okay,
to be
all right.
approved.
Yeah, okay, I just wanted to be sure of that. I own and run a recording studio on the property, so I have some concerns about decibel readings, and I would like to have an understanding of what the real, you know, if you take a decibel reading, for instance, behind a panel where
Yes.
there's speakers, voice facing inward,
Yes.
that's not necessarily gonna be an accurate decibel reading. Basically, you're in, because I'm very familiar how sound travels in our surrounding area.
Basically, yeah.
So the way acoustics work is that's not gonna be really a clear representation of what the sound is gonna be like. So the potential is, and again, not trying to be adversarial in a way, if that decibel level is actually much greater and a broader scale than what you're talking about, that could potentially affect my business.
Understood.
And so I'm concerned about that. I don't know what reassurances there are, and I appreciate what you said about how you're considering those things.
Yes.
And the timeframe was like normally on the weekends, 7 to.
I appreciate that as well, but my business tends to happen on the weekends. Yeah.
So the beauty of our setups, we have, so you're familiar with audio and audio engineering?
Very much so.
Excellent. So we have 6-zone individual amplifiers at units, which each of the speakers, we home run them straight back to the amplifier unit. And these are, very, very expensive.
Are they, do you know if they're like line arrays, or are they like single point speakers that?
They're single point.
Okay.
Yep. And so each of the speakers' volume levels can be adjusted individually, so that if we, run into the issue where, hey, it's a little bit too loud, hey, the decibel level is becoming an issue, we can fix that and remediate it instantly.
Okay.
And that's part of what we do in our weeks leading up to opening. We do our sound testing, we do our light testing, we do to make sure that, it's all kosher, and to make sure it's contained. So,
And lighting projection, as
all
I said, is
inward.
inward. Because we do have a lovely property and a
Yeah.
panoramic view of the whole hillside, including the wonderful cell tower.
And, well, there's that.
So we may be the property that's 1,500 feet from you guys.
Got it.
So I guess the other concern I would have is, and my wife, her business is,
Can I
yeah,
speak?
please do.
So my concern is more, we used to live in Bethlehem, and they opened a large school rehab type of place, and it had a huge fence with like barbed wire on top, and we would get regular escapees knocking on our door. So my concern,
So you're worried about these creatures
I'm,
coming over?
yeah, no, more the humans than the creatures.
Humans are the more scary.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, more, but I mean, we have a pond, our neighbors have a pond. To get to our, it's a bunch of woods, you go down the hill, we walk up to the top of where the properties adjoin, it's part of our regular routine. You could easily just walk on down, be at the pond, be at our house, Is there some kind of plan to fence
Corral
that
people?
off, or?
Yeah, so I mean, right now, there's an existing rock wall, so that will set.
Yeah.
You are perfect.
I know it well,
So
yeah.
that right there will set the boundary for the cars. So we know the cars will not pull up any further, they won't be going, past that.
So there's a roadway right there to that
What's
rock
that?
wall?
No. We're staying back from that a solid 30 or so. I see what the site plan says, but we're staying a solid 30, 35 feet from that rock wall. So then, obviously, our parking, so that's part of where security kicks in. We have security monitoring the property at all times.
Yeah.
They monitor
This is
the
our
parking
plan.
area.
Thank you.
They monitor
This
the
is
queue
where the-
area. They monitor the,
This is where the
traction
activities
area.
are.
And
That's
this is the
part.
parking.
We have eyes
The guy,
mobile
so
at all
we have
times.
some
at
sense.
any
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
great. We're
Is this
here.
your-
Yeah, I'm
can
pretty
see
sure that's
everything
us and that's our neighbor.
Okay, we'll take that.
Yeah, thank you. That's
Right.
helpful.
They're very diligent about maintaining, all of the foot traffic and following it to
And
where,
so-
in our 4 years, we've never had any issues like that.
If you wouldn't mind.
Sure.
So where's the parking area is gonna be where?
So this is the parking area, yep, right here, and then you have a 35 from the rock wall,
Right,
the
okay.
edge of the parking lot.
Yeah, that's us.
That's you, okay.
You live on Cole Street?
Yeah,
And you go up the hill farther?
Big
I'm
piece
sorry?
of property.
Yeah.
it is a big piece of
It
property.
is a big piece.
All right.
It's 15, it's not huge,
14,
yeah, but,
yeah.
yeah.
15 acres.
What kind of noise do you experience there now?
Well, we definitely hear every car that drives up 44.
44 is, especially
is-
at rush hours,
yeah,
it's pretty loud.
And in the
Also-
winter.
I live on the
especially.
backside of the lake and I can hear it when they come through the rock
I
cut
bet
stuff.
you do.
Yeah.
On Sucker Brook
Yeah.
Road.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot farther
And,
distance.
a fair amount of like firearms noise and stuff like that.
So, you have the ability to take a decibel reading out there,
I
right?
could, yeah, I could.
So, you might want to track your noise for a little bit
Mhm.
before this starts, so you
And see
can
where we're at, yeah.
see what your base
Mhm.
thing is, and see where your trucks are and stuff,
Yep,
okay? That way you have a record.
it's a good
Are
suggestion.
you do you understand what how he's doing his noise?
I understand it, yeah.
Yeah.
Does that seem?
We're all ears as well. We're 100%, open to maintaining consistent communication with you. You know, if there's ever a concern, we'll even we'll keep you in the loop. Hey, we're opening this year on the 28th, whatever it may be. Any concerns, we are all ears. We want to be respectful.
I did some due diligence on you guys.
You did?
Yeah.
Excellent.
I like it. I mean, I like the.
And you get free tickets.
And here we have it.
As long as we don't, right?
Yeah, that's right. You can bribe the neighbors, just don't try to do it with us.
I mean, and especially, we will do everything we can. I mean, even if we had, we could do stockade fence, blocking in that side as well.
Something, I
We
mean,
could
I
do-
just
yeah,
feel
we
like,
could do something, along the lines of that.
kids celebrating
Yep.
tend to be adventurous
Yeah.
and like going literally 30 feet from where your car is parked into
Yep.
the woods to
Yep.
go do whatever
Yep.
seems
I
pretty
think-
likely to happen.
So I'll give you an idea of how our parking operation works. So we have 3 parking attendants. We have one at the main entrance, guiding them. Okay, you go down to, if I could pull up on my iPad our parking. We have a diagram of our parking lots. So we have 3 parking staff that are running the lot at all times.
Okay.
Staff member 1 stands at the main entrance to the parking lot where the driveway empties out into the parking lot. Then there are 3 lanes, or I should say, lanes that get them through the rows of the spots. We then have 1 staff member in that lane who is leading the car. So basically, the first attendant says we're gonna go down lane 1. We have an attendant down lane 1, literally standing in front of the spot where that car is gonna go. We do that for every single car. And we have to do that on our end to make sure, of course, they're getting in there safely. Number 2, to make sure that they are parked properly in that space so that we get max, correct.
Right.
So at that point, they say, okay, you're good. They are watching those people get out of that car and go to the security bonding table. So every single guest that gets out of their car has eyes on them.
Okay.
Yep, so and I could show you,
So I have a question for you.
yes,
They didn't want it.
they didn't want it. They didn't. Let me see if I can pull up my parking bag.
So for our, for you.
That's the whole package.
This is gonna be operating in
Go
the,
through the whole
Beautiful.
thing, all
I
the
appreciate
stats are in there.
this is gonna be operating in the fall.
Uh-huh.
And potentially lights will be shining up the hill if you're on that stone wall boundary.
Yeah,
Would they reach up to your house?
they would definitely.
Well, the stone
Yeah.
wall is up the hill from.
Yeah, so I think in terms of elevation, it'll probably be about at the same, because it kind of comes down into a valley.
Yeah,
and
our
the
house
park-
is, the pond
set
is
up
at the
on the
bottom
street,
and
yeah.
the house is by the road and everything.
So I'll be shocked if we don't see some light shine from the parking situation,
So would you be agreeable to put up fencing there so the lights don't go
That's
up?
something we'd be open to, absolutely. Absolutely.
Great.
See here than an aerial.
Well, you guys ought to exchange numbers.
Yeah.
Please, yeah, of
Their
course,
site's over
yeah,
there by the
absolutely. And this is
pond.
actually,
Okay.
this is, oh, sorry, this is,
You know, the mole is.
this is actually the layout of our parking field.
All
So,
the fence you have in this town
as you
for
can
the
see,
special permit.
they come in right here, you have lane 1, 2, and 3. So,
Correct.
staff member 1 there.
So
Even out
stone
there?
wall is where?
Oh, I'm right here,
Yeah,
35 feet that way, yep. So,
Or anything
each of these
over 7
rows,
feet.
whichever one 6 feet used
traditional.
at
That's what
that
she's
time, will
asking.
have that staff member guiding them into that space, move to the next one, they wave them down, they have the glow sticks and everything, so they watch them literally walk back this way.
Okay.
So there's nobody unsupervised, because
Okay.
that's one of our key concerns too,
Yeah,
is
I
that
would
if they
imagine.
venture off into the woods, that's a liability for
Right.
us.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so that's extremely important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Okay.
see.
Yep.
That's
So
good.
do you have any more questions of the applicant?
No, I mean, not me.
No, but this is help.
This
We
is
will,
really
we will
helpful.
check that out.
Please do,
Yeah.
please do. I can email it to you as well. I could email
Yeah,
it to
well,
you.
why
Oh,
don't you
yeah,
guys
let's
exchange?
see.
Okay, you could change
Guys
emails
can do that.
later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great, thanks so much.
Thank you.
everyone.
Any more questions from the board?
So, any potential off-season use?
At this time, that's not in the
No,
plans.
for-
Oh, I'm sorry.
You know, that way you get to the microphone.
I'm sorry.
That way you get to the microphone.
Okay. At this time, that's not in the plans in the coming years. I'm not saying we would never be open to that in the future, you know, but at this time, no.
And then the hours of operation, I don't know, I might have missed it.
It was in there.
It was in there, okay.
Yeah.
7 to 11 PM?
7 to 10. So the last time slot is 10 o'clock.
And you
So,
probably extend-
I'm sorry.
It'll probably extend until 11.
Usually on average 10:15, 10:30. Our 10 o'clock time slot, something I'd like to add, is the slowest. On average, we probably see maybe 10 people for those time slots. We're usually done on average 10:15, 10:30 each night. On the absolute latest, busiest night, we might have 1 or 2 nights where we're going until 11. But again, that's very, very, very rare.
Nobody wants to be scared that late.
Nobody wants to.
No, they want to, yeah, especially on Sundays.
4 people at 10:30.
Yeah. We're sitting there waiting for the last 4 people to come at 10 o'clock, so.
The other item I have is, it looks like we're expanding the width of the driveway. Does that mean we don't need any driveway pull-offs for egress for emergency vehicles or anything like that? As part of our driveway.
Yeah, so Mr.
extending.
Legassi and I spoke about that.
Yeah.
He said it just needs to be 20 feet wide, and we're widening it to 20 feet. Yep. It's existing, paved, and then we're widening it with, you know, millings, keeping it at grade, widening it to 20 feet.
Yeah, and then I also had the car line of sight, headlights, and I had here installed fence 4 to 6 feet in front of rock wall. It looks like you don't fully own the rock wall.
I'd have to look at
35
it.
feet, I think.
We're 35 feet back from that rock wall.
Yep.
Yeah, so we could put it at the edge of the parking area.
That's all I have.
And we could even, you know, we could go taller, you know, than our fence panels are. Christine, you may have asked that question. I'm sorry. What's
You need a
the,
permit if it's over.
if it's over?
We need a building permit.
Okay, if it's over, okay.
Probably 4 to 6.
Yeah, 6. Our panels are 6-foot fence panels.
And I think that's something maybe that can be addressed through a zoning permit. I mean, I think there's a balance, and I would leave it to when you actually get out there with the terrain, you know, of neighbors wanting their vistas and looking out year-round versus
Yeah.
having to look at an 8-foot tall fence because it's being used, you know, 14 days out of the year, so.
You're saying like maybe take it down at the.
Well, then maybe it's not needed, like, you know, as you get there and you
Oh,
look, and depending how the terrain is, if it's
I see what you're
needed,
saying.
work with the land use office to put it
Yeah.
up. But I also don't wanna be blocking views and, you know, making things,
Yeah.
you know, not
Even if-
natural if it's not necessary, right?
Right.
So maybe working together to make sure.
Yeah.
Cause you don't generally need a permit approval from us to put up a fence, so.
That's building official, I would assume. Yeah.
Only over 7.
Oh, okay.
Under that, it's just put it up.
Got it. Got it.
You should have a better idea of where the action is gonna happen from what you got there.
Yeah, so, and the good thing is the attraction area is way further towards the front, toward 44. Yeah, yeah.
And sorry, I forgot to ask before.
Yes.
Are you guys buying the land?
Yes, yes.
Anybody else in the audience have anything, any questions? No? We're all good? All right.
Jeff, this was referred to the police chief? We got
Yeah,
nothing
he
in
wasn't
writing
able
from
to
him?
get us comments for tonight, and we'll also reach out to Chief Field to get his comments.
Yeah,
for you.
because we're gonna need something from the fire chief,
Yep.
written comments from him and the police chief before we can take any action on it.
I'd say specifically for the emergency access, I don't want to speak for it, but
What's that?
I would say specifically for the emergency access plans, right?
Well, the police chief, the fire chief has to
Both.
review
Okay.
it.
Everything.
Both of them have to review
Everything,
it.
yeah.
And then, do we need it right that we don't need a electrical permit from our?
A what permit?
I don't think you should get into whether there's electrical permits or building permits. Let the building official handle that part of it. Yeah, because he may need to be involved. He will need to be involved in some of this. There's, you know, theatrical display portion of the code, and that's going to play into this. And
I believe Mr. Legassi mentioned that the building official will be part of the inspection process.
But yeah, you guys
Pre-season
don't need to
inspection
worry about
process.
that.
And so,
And something I would like to add, probably the thing I should have added first, we would not be opening until fall of 2027. That's something that's very important, because just simply, if this is approved, we need a healthy amount of time to get it taken
Yeah,
down,
clear.
moved over, and we want to do it the right way, the safe way. We don't want to rush it. So this would be starting fall of 2027.
Okay.
Any more questions? Because what I do, I'll make a motion that we continue PZC 26-6, public hearing for Alexander Fortuna on behalf of Forsaken Lands to our next meeting on May 18th.
I'll second.
All in favor?
And just for
Any discussion?
clarification, we're only continuing it because we want the police chief and fire marshal
Reports
We
will be
want,
part
we
of the
want
record.
comments from the police chief and the fire chief.
Okay.
And if we close the
But
hearing,
this also
we
gives
can't
other
include it.
residents time to speak
Understood.
also by continuing the public hearing.
I might be absent that night, but we got healthy attendance here, so in case someone needs to fill in for me.
I'm always willing to be seated.
All right.
And that, I mean, you said you're not opening for a year, so that timing would still work for you?
We do, so I'd have to look at, so we have the property under contract, contingent on town approvals. I have to see what our contingency period is, because I do know it's starting to get a little bit close. I'd have to figure out what that, because we had, I know I mentioned it.
Yeah, I don't
forgot.
remember that.
I have to figure out what that is, but, if we're looking at, when was the next meeting? You said May 18th?
May 18th.
We might be getting a little bit close, if not past our contingency period, so that might create a little bit of an issue for the sale of the property.
Did we send everything to the police and fire chief?
They were included in the
Fire marshal was
Fire
included,
marshal and
yeah.
police
Uh,
chief. Yeah.
Did we send it to Chief Field?
I
I'm not sure.
don't know if.
Yeah, it might be new for the fire chief. Police chief has seen it. He sat through the presentation. He did have some questions about traffic on 44, but like I said, he wasn't able to get us his written comments for tonight.
Yeah, the fire chief has not seen it. I talked to him today.
Okay.
He had
And
no
I
knowledge
know
of it.
Chief Chuchi, is that, did I? CUC, I apologize. He requested traffic studies from the DOT, and traffic, study maps from the DOT, which I included in the PDF.
Yeah.
And he wanted our previous season's attendance records, which I also included in that. So I took note of everything that he was looking for at the end of that meeting. I made sure I included it in the updated PDF.
Do you have a copy of your purchase and sale so you can look at your contingency dates?
I don't have it in front of me at the moment.
Second motion. Oh, okay.
Adam seconded, we're still discussing it.
All right, I will have to
Is there, okay.
find that out.
So my only reason I ask, because I do think that this could be good for our community. I think it can really support businesses, and I don't want to ruin the sale or, make this not happen because.
Well, could
We're
we make the, I don't know the answer to this.
I'm not comfortable voting on it until we have something.
Not
from
even with
both
a
the police chief and
stipulation
fire
in the,
chief.
in the
I know, but-
approval about getting the report and then
What if we don't
compliance.
What if we don't like what they have to say and they need to redesign it?
Well, then it
They'd
would
have
come
to
back
comply
you.
with it, yeah.
Yeah, I think the way you would, I think if you were to go down that path, I think the way you'd structure that condition of approval is that any comments that we receive from either police chief or fire chief get incorporated into the final site plan, and if there are any significant changes, then it comes back to you for a modification.
And I would like to throw out there as well that the design of the attraction is built modular for that reason. So if we need to
I
make
understand.
modifications, it's easily modifiable to, any requirements.
Because we're not meeting on the 11th because it's a budget
We
meeting.
meet at the
right?
18th, right?
Right, so that's.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe if it's the 18th, it will go potentially past the contingency period. Again, I'm not sure on
The real
that.
estate agent just stepped out. He was
Yeah,
waiting
that's my real estate agent.
So,
Go get
I
it.
will say our office fielded multiple inquiries about the property. One gentleman who is anxiously waiting to see how this works out, just to put that on the record as well.
So, I mean, if we, wanted to have a special meeting for this only, do you think we could do it next Monday if they're, but is that too soon? That only gives them 1
You
week.
can't do it next Monday because of public notice you've got to give.
Well, the public
No,
hearing's
your
already
hearing's
open.
open, so
Okay.
you're
You
keeping
can
it
just
open,
continue it.
so. Good.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for them, but that would give them a week to get their comments in.
Or,
So I'm trying to think through, you know, evacuation plan, things
Do you
like
mind if I-
25.
No, please do.
Yeah, I mean, we could meet like next Monday, I have no problem with that.
We're
She
about to
didn't.
have an answer.
She didn't, I don't.
Oh,
Contingency period. I don't, we'll see, hopefully she has it. Are there any further questions? Anything else I could?
If you're not planning on opening till 27,
Yes.
the urgency, I could see if you were gonna open this coming fall, but couldn't your agent just get an extension to the contingency date?
I'm not ruling that out, but
pretty
I
easy.
think the seller was anxious to have it go through.
Really the seller that.
It's, yeah, so the seller was anxious to sell it. They, you know, like we've spoken to them about that, and they were very strict about that contingency period. That was one of their main points of the contract.
Can
They
you
wanted-
make it by next Monday?
We should be able to.
Yeah.
We
next
should be able to do
Next
that.
Monday should be.
Yeah. we
but
should
not
be
the
able to-
18th.
Not the 18th,
Not
it'll be.
May 18th.
All right, I'll amend my motion to continue the public hearing to May 4th at a special meeting
Thank you.
at 7 PM.
Thank you.
Yep.
We appreciate that.
Second it?
I'll second.
that's at 7 PM.
7 PM.
I'll second.
Yep.
Any more discussion on this one? No, all in favor? Okay. We'll see you next Monday.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll have the answers we need.
Yep, we
Thanks for your
should.
time, folks. Thank you very much.
Jeff, you'll take care of the field and
First thing tomorrow.
make sure they get that? Okay.
Police chief's had it for some time.
Hey, Willie?
Well, we've got everything online.
Yeah.
Biggest thing.
Do you need mine back?
I don't want it.
I don't know if you need it to get
Have him reminded me.
Hopefully they'll review the digital files. We've got it.
This is our art brain.
All right, so if you guys are done,
Are you all set? All, folks.
Still have business.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right, so now we're off to item number 6, new business, Walnut Street. It's all you, Jeff.
Yes, so 281 Walnut Street is a town-owned piece of property. It's actually quite large. You guys got a GIS print off there. It goes all the way back to the mountain. Habitat for Humanity is interested in this piece of property to construct a single-family home. They only need that front bit. So we prepared for you, be approximately half an acre, what they're looking for. They would be responsible to get this site surveyed, to lop off the part they want. The town would retain ownership of the back acreage for a potential expansion at some point in the future, to be determined, for an expansion of the Tetro Pond Park, which is adjacent there.
Right here.
Yep, you can see the pond there in the GIS. So no one has really heard this officially yet. This information will be brought to the Board of Selectmen, hopefully along with your positive referral for sale. And then Paul, Town Manager Harrington, will do his dog and pony show to get all the, good press out of this.
Do we have a 2-minute recess?
Sure.
All right.
You wanna try it again? I'm gonna try to cast. Yeah. Well,
to say-
actually, while Willie's up, I'll go onto the desk and see if it's
okay.
cable.
apparently. And if not,
You
we'll
think
try
it's
to
all
cast it.
connected with the sound on the,
YouTube sound is working. I got information from Selectman Hester that he was watching and it was fine. The cable access has always been screwy.
Messy.
Yeah, so if someone was watching on that, there's nothing I can do. And we're back to America's Funniest Home Videos.
Oh, perfect.
'Cause that's how this one
Just
likes
what I
to
was looking
fall.
for.
Back to board, hopefully.
so I presume the 5-4 meeting will be across the hall.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, because Selectmen have a meeting that night.
Oh, maybe it's under yours.
There's a cable there. Nope. Keeps going.
Keeps going.
Oh, no, that comes under here, I think.
Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with it too much. All right, you wanna try to cast?
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna try to do that.
Which one are we trying to get to?
It'll be the Samsung.
Okay.
I don't know, how the heck did we get the, you must have done something with the source, yeah? Oh, wait a minute. Samsung. Do you know where that is?
Doing something over there.
Oh, yeah, you got, oh, yeah, it's good.
There we go. Okay, so hit allow.
Yeah, that one's looking good.
And hopefully it'll connect. Hold on, there's a display adapter in this room too. That one, I might be able to get on that one.
What's happening here now?
Parking lot grade. They're the same grade as that, so.
Oh, this is trying to.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Hey.
There's a display adapter on that one, so that's gonna be.
Been through that
I'm
probably
gonna
too
shut
many
these
times
ones
and
off.
brush fires.
Yeah.
Yeah, up on top of the cell
Better,
tower.
better than nothing.
It's all state forest behind it. 3 times, been major fires up there.
They're gonna buy that. Is there any opportunity for access to the Algonquin State Forest? Any trail system out there?
No.
No.
What's going on?
You guys will have to crane your necks, because that's the only one I can attach to, but when we get to that, it'll be
Do
helpful.
we get workers' comp?
I can try.
But it's pretty,
At least it's Lake Winchester anyways.
It's actually Highland Lake
it's so forested.
in Stoddard, New Hampshire.
Oh, okay. I know that well. So, yeah.
And it used to be called Long Pond,
Oh,
so
Yes.
there you go. Yeah, that's,
The one in New Hampshire, or the one up here? 'Cause the one
Both.
up here-
Both.
Yes, I was gonna
both,
say.
oddly enough, yeah. Yep, that's the,
Us colonials.
yeah, we just keep the same name going over and over. I know. Yeah, how many Avons are there in New England?
Yeah.
Well, how many Winchesters are there?
We're gonna get it right.
That's not too far
We
from
got
Winchester, New
New
Hampshire.
Hampshire, Winchester,
Right.
Virginia.
Yeah, that's only,
I know.
I don't know, 40 minutes, 45 minutes from Winchester, New Hampshire, something like that.
Not even that, yeah.
yeah.
Half hour or less. Yeah.
It's beautiful. My family's got a place up there.
it
It's
is
on the,
beautiful
it's
up
on the
there,
west
yeah.
side of the lake,
Yep.
yeah.
So we ready to restart? Coming back from recess. Okay, so you're gonna show us something here in this?
Okay, so are we good with the 824?
We haven't voted on
We
it.
I
didn't
didn't
get,
think
we
so.
didn't do a
Okay.
motion or anything.
We're still talking about it, right?
Yeah, lost my train of thought on there. So do you have any specific questions on that? We did bounce this off of Jim Rollins. I'm not sure if the email made it to the package.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of comments on the bottom.
Yeah, okay, so he's got,
But it's off the property, they're looking to get rid of his comments.
I'm sorry?
The comments he made are on the 5-acre piece, not on the half-acre.
Correct, however,
Right.
his point is it'd be easier to remove those foundation and walls now, attacking it from what will soon be Habitat's
Does
property.
he have the money to do it?
Well, that's a different question, that we'll decide. It's always possible to take it out of, the blind beautification funds, although there'd be no payback, for this usage, but, you know, his comment's well taken. If it came through from the park, it'd be much more invasive.
Well, and I don't know that that's something that we would have to determine here, you know, we
No.
can let them negotiate that out.
That's right. And it may be nothing that happens with that
And maybe
right
when
now.
Habitat Humanity has equipment there,
Mhm.
you know, they're already mobilized, we can just.
Perhaps, yeah. Part of the.
What do we just have to?
So I would, unless anybody has any further discussion, I think this is good, and I can make a motion to give a favorable 8-24 report to the Board of Selectmen as it's consistent with our plan of conservation and development.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Who seconded it? I'm sorry.
I did.
Will.
That was 6A. And 6B.
6A.
6A, yep, we
The new 6A.
reshuffled.
So now we get on to
Regulations.
item 6A, regulation updates related to special session Public Act 25-1.
Yeah, so this is the fun stuff that we've
The
been talking
fun
about for a while. What'd you say?
This is the fun stuff at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, the fun stuff at 9 o'clock at night, and I'm not gonna, I think, you know, I sent all these regulations out to you on Saturday. I don't anticipate that you've had a chance to read them, because nobody wants to read this stuff, including me. But, you know, I'll kind of go through it really briefly and give you a chance to read through it, and we can talk about it again when we meet in a couple of weeks, or we can keep it on the agenda for our special meeting in next week if we want. I'll let you guys decide what you're gonna do with that. So I'll run through the sections first, and just give you a recap of what I've done, and then I'll go back to the use table, we'll talk about that, and then I'll talk about the traffic mitigation overlay zone last. So, first thing, and this is just in order, the way that this comes up is just in the order of your zoning regulations, so chronological order, 415.15 first is your conservation and traffic mitigation zone, which is an entirely new overlay zone. Purpose is to ensure adequate parking remains available in the residential and mixed-use areas surrounding downtown Winsted. Authority is granted to you under 25-1. Location is shown on the map, and I'll come back to that in a little bit. Parking requirements, we go through that. 1 space per efficiency in 1-bedroom unit, 2 spaces for 2 or more bedroom units. That just follows the language of the Public Act, so we really don't have a lot of flexibility there. And then the allowance for a parking needs assessment, which again is something that's allowed within or required of you within the Public Act. So the way that's written right now is in accordance with Special Session Public Act 25-1, developer may present a parking needs assessment. If said needs assessment is submitted, the commission shall approve the development using either the figure found within the needs assessment or the minimum required number of spaces as determined within the section, whichever is lower. So, for example, if you have a regulation that equates to needing 30 parking spaces for a residential development, the developer submits a parking needs assessment saying he only needs 28 based on the ITE and other factors, you have to approve it with 28. Doesn't matter what your minimums say. So that's essentially what that section is telling you. 415.20, this is your, used to be 19, we're gonna have to renumber all of these things as we add to your regulations, and that's what you're seeing there, so it becomes 415.20. Parking types, outdoor lighting and landscaping. Minor changes here, simply adding the allowance for, there's a little bit of a lag between my computer and that screen, apologies. An allowance for the parking needs assessment, and then a statement on small residential developments. So as you know, and as we've discussed in the past, for residential developments outside of traffic mitigation zone that we'll talk about in a little bit, anything fewer than 16 units, you cannot require, or rather, you cannot deny an application for failure to meet the minimum parking standards. I'm not proposing that we eliminate the minimum parking standards. I think they should stay in there as a guideline, and hopefully most developers adhere to them. However, if a developer comes in with a number that is lower than your minimum, you can't deny it. And so that's what subsection 8A is telling you there, is telling you.
For that reason, you can't deny it, but if it becomes a safety hazard, or there's no parking on the street, or things like that.
Well, and that's where the overlay zone comes into play, and that's what we'll talk a little bit about that. Right, you can continue to, the police department can continue to enforce on-street parking. I think the reality is any developer worth their grain of sand is going to provide the parking, right?
Yeah,
Because
they'll work with us.
people have cars. So,
Yeah.
and if they want to lease out their units,
Yeah.
people are going to want to park their cars close to where they live.
It's
They
not
don't
like
wanna
it's in a city
walk
where it's a
half
walkable
mile
or a
to-
bus or
Right.
transit.
Right, you're right, this is not a train community, you don't have buses, the reality is, it's gonna be foolish for a developer to try and go no parking. What you might see is lower than what you're used to. Historically, I think we tend to overpark. We have, you go to a supermarket, go to a big box store, and there's acres and acres of asphalt, and not half of it's used. So we kind of know that, and I think that's kind of what the state is getting at, is saying, well, let the developers figure out what they need for their development. We don't necessarily need 2 spaces for every single unit, especially if it's a studio or a one-bedroom unit. So that's kind of what this is getting at. Again, I'm not proposing that we change the parking standards. We'll use the numbers the state is giving us, and if somebody comes in with a lower number, we've got to look at it. Scrolling down, 41548, these are new standards that pertain to middle housing and mixed-use developments. So those are developments of between 2 and 9 residential units. This is an entirely new section spelling out the standards. I'm not going to go through it in detail. Take a look at it, read through it, but gives you the intention, gives you the applicability. An explanation of what middle housing and mixed-use developments are, describes the review process. So again, these are in the statute what's called summary review, which I like to call site plan plus. It's not a special permit, you cannot require a public hearing, but you can look at it from a life safety perspective. So it's not quite the same as a site plan, which is check off your regulations and go on. But it allows us to create specific standards for these types of uses. So that's what we've done here. Our firm has developed sort of out-of-the-box regs that we're rolling out to all of our communities that we work for. If you like it, great. If you don't, we'll change it. But we have design standards in here, we have landscape standards in here, lighting, parking. We have all of those things specific to these types of developments, because I think we're cognizant that the big thing is when you're putting residential into a commercial zone is sort of the aesthetic and the look and feel and how it functions with those commercial users next door. And so that's the idea.
Where do we envision this kind of stuff
Well,
going? I saw the map.
I'll get to the use table
Okay.
next. It has to be per the Public Act. It has to be allowed in your commercial zones. So
Yeah,
we're
I
talking
understand that, but-
town center and town gateway and Highland Lake business. We have to allow it.
There's no, where though? There's no,
Could be redevelopments, could be tear down rebuilds. I mean, it's
Oh, it
it's
has
like-
to be allowed in the Highland Lake Business District.
It does, it has to be allowed in your Highland Lake Business District, yeah. And so, we could move forward without adopting regulations at all. But what that does is, then you have no standards, and if somebody comes in with a development proposed under the statute, you just have to say yes. So whereas if we create some standards that go
I
along with it,
understand what
then
you're
they've got
saying,
to follow.
yeah. I just wondered the practicality of it, where do we have to?
Yeah, it may never be taken up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, you may never see one of those developments. You might see one or two. We know what
Where did I see that
we
map?
know what demand is like in town.
Yeah.
I work for other communities where we're sort of, our wheels are spinning because they've got more demand.
Right.
It's different, but
Right.
I think it's a good idea to have the reg in place, and,
Yeah, yeah,
and
I
we'll,
understand, yeah.
we gotta go through and it's a good exercise.
Where did what did you send that overlay map? Because I saw
I
it
did,
somewhere.
yeah, and
I
I'm
saw it on-
gonna pull that up next,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I wanna talk
okay.
about that.
Right.
I think that's the bigger piece of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pie that I wanna talk about
Yeah.
with you guys.
Okay.
And then after review process, we get into, is these, I've already
okay.
taken them and kind of massaged them
Got
to
it.
what you,
Okay.
to the Winchester framework.
Okay.
And then we get into specific, it's almost a form-based code as opposed to traditional zoning regulations. So you're regulating the form, because we know we have to allow the use. So this is more regulating the form of it. So it's, lot line coverage and how much of the lot it takes up, and where it sits on the lot, and how it functions, in conjunction with its neighbors and all those things. So again, I'm not gonna go through it in detail, just take a look at it. We include some, images into the regulation. Not that every development's gonna look like one of these things, but the idea is it sort of goes along with the use table and the form and function, because what we're trying to avoid is a box, right? And so we're just trying to encourage,
Yeah,
folks
old-fashioned multifamily houses.
yeah, exactly. So the next bunch of pages are all of that stuff. We get down beyond the building types, and we call out, the Public Act calls out certain building types: duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, perfect sixes, and multifamily buildings. And so cottage clusters. So we've drafted up and created, specific regulations for each of those, and then a commercial conversion table and building type as well. So like, cottage cluster, that's mixed use.
Are those tiny houses?
They could potentially be tiny houses, yeah. So that, this is an example site plan of what a cottage cluster could look like. So again, take a look at those, give me comments back when I see you again in a couple of weeks.
And not to confuse this, but I did just want to bring up a different conversation, sort of to your point of where, in poring over the regs specifically to town single family, I figured out that we, as of right now, have an option A and an option B. Option A basically is what you think as a condo development, so in a row kind of thing. We used to have a dwelling row home regulation, at least back in 2011, which sort of got cobbled into the town single family. And we've been having a little discussion of, well, should that be allowed, should it not be allowed? Peter even looked at our GIS, and basically most of our little condo developments are in town single family. So the question I have for Jeremy is, if this is all driven by Public Act 25-1 and we wanted to roll town single family or anywhere else into the missing middle housing that's discussed here, are you allowed to expand on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and that's up for your discussion, but I just wanted to bring that out.
So middle housing in the Public Act is defined as 2 to 9, development of 2 to 9 units, and it is required that we have to allow it in all of your commercial zones. So that's what we've done right now. If the commission feels as though, town single family makes sense for those types of developments, we just simply add it to the use table.
And the other rules in that district would still apply, coverage, lot coverage, all that kind of thing.
I think if we were gonna add it in the town single family, we would have to make sure there was no commercial on the first level.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right, and so what we could do is remove the mixed use component, right? So because you're not required to have.
It has to be residential only.
Right, it has to be residential only. So we, going back to those tables and, all of these graphics, we could simply add if you note, each of these tables has a HLB, TC, and TG specific column.
Yeah, you would
We
add
could
another
add
column.
TSF and,
Exempt mixed use.
yeah, and right, we would take mixed use out of it, so that would, we'd add the column and leave it blank essentially, so that it's not allowed in there, and in the use table, it wouldn't, the mixed use category wouldn't get carried over to town single family. And then the next bunch of pages in here are, site design and building design stuff, materials. roof types, and we have a bunch of graphics to go along with it. You know, we're looking for essentially roofs with pitches. We're not looking for flat types, flat roof types. You know, siding diagrams, a whole host of stuff.
Any of these developments would be put on our sewer lines, right? Do we know what the capacity is or excess capacity you have?
Not necessarily.
And
Wait,
is
I can actually speak to this.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Our water and sewer capacity, we could have a whole other Winston in this town.
Yeah, we can pretty much,
Our plants are
what's on the water and sewer now, we could double the capacity.
easily. I mean, it's just amazing.
It's a great place to be.
And they would love to have
Well,
that, because then they'd have the
true, but-
revenue to do what they need to do.
Yeah. When we were building them, it was like, really?
Yes.
Anticipating, I mean, it was 30 years ago, we're anticipating the town's gonna, they didn't.
Right.
They just, the engineers just came in and.
Well, you know, and
bulldozed.
growth rates were totally different than 30 years. I mean, if you think about what we were doing with schools 30 years ago, we were building these massive buildings thinking that our student population was gonna double. And where are we? It's collapsed all over the state, so it's just,
Well,
it's
anyway,
just where
we
are.
do have that capacity, except we don't have them run everywhere.
Right.
I mean, we don't have the lines run everywhere.
But again, well, with the exception of portions of the TG zone, certainly your town center is on
Yes.
sewer and water, your Highland Lake Business District is on sewer and water, and a chunk of your town gateway is on it, not
Not all of
certainly
it,
not
yeah.
the section running down.
Right.
With possible
down south.
expansions being discussed
Right.
already.
So I say that because, you know, the review process, I know we're duplicating some of our own
Yeah.
We are.
regulations,
Yep,
right?
yep.
And is it because we have to limit to these items only?
Yeah.
And sewer cannot be one of them?
So, yeah, sewer, well, right, and sewer
Infrastructure not.
cannot be one of them because you have to allow it in those commercial zones. You can't say, in those commercial zones, if you have sewer.
Well, wait,
What
but
if
how do
the
you,
building goes in?
yeah,
we
right,
don't
how do you
have the
accommodate it?
pipe?
They have to have a.
They would have to have a septic system.
That's
Yeah.
I mean,
And they
you
have
know,
to size it right for the lot.
Right.
Down
and
there in
everything
the
else.
watershed, I mean, in the wetlands?
which means functionally it may not happen.
Happen,
Right,
right, gotcha.
Right, I mean,
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
might come in and say, I wanna do 9 units and not
Yeah.
have the soils for the
Right.
septic system, well, the
Right,
septic
right.
system's gonna
I
drive
mean, you
it.
think about Route 8 South.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I just wanna make
also-
sure the cost is not passed on to the town.
Right,
If they propose something, hey, meets all the standards, we don't care.
We're talking about state laws here, so,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
But
So,
there are potential, you know, investments coming from the state to enhance capacity, you know, should these developments be planned for. And we also need to create our housing growth zones, right? Which
Right.
could help towards when we go to the
Right.
state saying, hey, it'd be great if we could expand the sewer down here and there's
Yep.
all this, you know, potential housing and all that kind of stuff, so.
Just hope it doesn't happen. Hope that happens, but doesn't.
I mean, I don't think, yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't
some,
think it's
some,
all that
some
bad.
growth, some growth is a good thing, right?
Yeah,
mean,
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
I think Winsted is a great place to grow, and I think that obviously, we know that the infrastructure we have can handle the growth. We've had conversations with the superintendent, we know we can handle some growth, we know that birth rates are way down anyway. I heard a report a couple of weeks ago that, birth rates nationwide are down 27% from 2007, which is just crazy. It's just, and it just every year it drops a little bit more, so. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I would say go through these. I can send out a Word version if you'd like to take it and mark it up and you know, do any red line changes. I'm happy to send that out. Handwritten, whatever you want to do, just, you know.
I thought we couldn't
provide
change them,
feedback.
though. I thought it's state requirements, how can we change this stuff?
You have to allow these types of developments. The standards that we've developed, we can play with all we want.
I see,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
But there- once we develop them, there's no discretion, or there's less discretion.
Understood, right, right.
And that's why, to Adam's point, we are duplicating some of what's already in our regs.
Well, you wanna have
because-
something,
Right,
yeah.
if, you know, if somebody comes and says, I wanna do a middle housing development, this is what they have to follow. The rest of the reg is a little looser. Just scrolling down here. Multifamily dwellings, this is a minor change, again, just to stick with the state requirement in terms of parking. currently, and it's a little odd that it's in here because it's in the use table, but I'm not gonna mess around with that right now. Subsection B currently says garage space or off-street parking space for 1.5 vehicles plus a quarter guest space shall be provided on the lot for each unit. Going with the Public Act, it's 1 space for a studio or a 1-bedroom, 2 spaces for a 2-bedroom and above, so just minor change there. And then the definitions section, this is where I know Jeff and Peter were going back and forth in an email, and I think we started to look at your dwelling definitions holistically. And I wanted to do a couple of things here. I'm suggesting we do a couple of things here. Your dwelling unit regulation, or definition rather, currently is the black text. So building structure, unit, or portion thereof providing complete housekeeping facilities, including only 1 kitchen for 1 household living independently of each other. An additional kitchen unit is permitted through a special permit. Okay, so the problem I have with that definition is we just, out of the blue, threw a regulation into a definition. Nowhere else in this regulation does it say that it requires a special permit if I want a second kitchen in my house.
Yeah.
Which, having a second kitchen in a single-family house is not uncommon,
Very
especially.
common around Highland Lake.
Exactly, right. And I was just gonna say, especially if I have a house on a lake, I might want a kitchen in the basement, which is at walkout level to the lake, as opposed to having to go upstairs. So, as a zoning enforcement officer, somebody else coming in here knew, okay, I want a second kitchen, I'm like, okay, have fun. And then buried in the definition section is this, I wanna get that out of there. I don't know that it's necessary, and if the commission thinks it is necessary to require a special permit for a second kitchen, we should add that somewhere else, but it shouldn't be in the definition. And then I just sort of cleaned up the definition a little bit, so, to define it as 1 household living independently, and then it contains at least 1 bathroom and sleeping quarters. And then I also added that this term shall not be deemed to include units in a hotel, motel, motor hotel, or rooming house regardless of the presence of a kitchen, because I think it's just a little streamlines it a little bit.
Looks a lot better.
I added a definition for efficiency dwelling because we do refer to it in the use table a couple of different spots. We refer to it with regard to parking, and now with the middle housing especially, we refer to it with parking. So I just wanted to define that, and it's also a studio apartment, same thing. Multifamily dwelling, we're calling those 10 or more, because again, anything between 2 and 9 is middle housing, so minor definition change there. And then this single family dwelling stuff that Jeff just kind of alluded to is a little funny. So your current regulation, and again, it's in strike through here, but it kind of has 2 definitions under single family dwelling, which I couldn't quite wrap my head around, so I thought maybe I'm probably not the only one that can't wrap my head around this.
I had to read that 10 times.
So, A, the primary building on a lot designed for occupancy by 1 family, which for purposes of these regulations shall mean a building containing multiple single, which for the purpose of these regulations shall mean a building containing multiple single-family dwellings being separated horizontally by fire-resistive walls without openings and each having independent access to the exterior of the building in the ground story. That's sort of like,
Is it horizontally or vertically?
it doesn't make sense, right? You can't have a single-family dwelling that also, so I kind of want to just strike that entirety of subsection
I
A
agree
there.
too, because I think it got missed in the 2011.
That's my guess.
That was pretty much the definition of the dwelling row home,
Yes.
right there, which,
Right.
when you think about it like that, it kind of makes sense, right? They're
Well,
next to each other.
if you look at Greenwood's Garden Senior Housing, that's
Yeah.
the way it's built.
Right.
Just the way that's described.
Again, that's sort of more like, if you have a regulation that allows row houses, then you have a regulation that allows row houses, each one is a single-family dwelling.
Right.
That is not a multifamily dwelling. A multifamily is like an apartment building, right, where you walk in and there's multiple units off from a hallway. A row house is different. They're individual single-family units. They don't connect with each other. They don't talk to each other. They just share firewall. And then B was a building or structure designed or used exclusively. as residence purposes by one household, each dwelling being separated by open space or yard. So I just kind of cleaned that up so that single-family dwelling is building or structure designed or used exclusively as and containing one dwelling unit. Any opposition there? It sounds like everybody's got
No, it's much easier.
And then definitions for middle housing development, mixed-use development, and summary review. So those are all new definitions. And again, take a look at them. We can, I mean, within reason, we can mess with them.
Really good.
So let's talk about the, and I'll try to keep this brief, but let's talk about the conservation and traffic mitigation overlay zone. We talked a couple of weeks ago about sort of focusing on the town center residential zone. Not so much along Main Street, but some areas kind of on the outskirts of Main Street. So what you're seeing there is your zoning map overlaid by the new, and this is just me throwing things on a board to kind of get your thoughts and feelings, and we can discuss further.
Is there any size restriction to those?
Yes, there is.
And
So
those are within the size restriction?
you are way under.
Wow, okay.
You are way under, so let me pull that up really quick.
I saw that in something you wrote.
It's in my report,
Yeah.
and I wanna refer back to it, because I'm gonna forget exactly what it is.
But wait, this is something you're proposing, this is not
It
in
is
any way?
allowed by
Part
the
of the public
statute.
act.
It is part of
It
that.
is.
It's allowed, but is it mandated?
It is not mandated,
No, but you want to.
but you probably want to.
You want it so that we
Because,
can mandate
because you
parking.
cannot regulate parking under 16 units. Okay, for residential developments under 16 units, you cannot regulate parking.
Under the new statute?
Under the new statute.
Yeah.
Except if you create one of these traffic mitigation zones, then you can regulate the parking for any size residential development
All
within
right,
that
so the
zone.
statute contained its own back
Yeah.
door. Okay.
As they typically do,
Yeah,
just to
I-
confuse things.
I know.
Just like, all the accessory dwelling unit stuff that you could then opt out of. if you-
Okay.
So you can have 2 of these zones, each one can be 4% of your total land area. Winchester's approximately 21,632 acres. 4% of that is 865. So 4% of that's 865. So if you do
We can
4%
expand the whole
zones,
downtown.
yeah, you could do 1,600 acres.
We can just blanket Winston.
You could blanket Winstead, you could blanket a lot of things. What I've shown on this map is approximately 297 acres. So you could almost quadruple this.
But you only get one crack at this.
Is that right?
Right?
Mathematically? is that
Unclear. I think you can
It
I think
is?
you can modify the zone later if you need to.
right? 4%
So my one question on this
21,000 is 865.
is currently,
Yeah,
in the
okay.
town center
Yeah.
zone, we don't require any parking.
Currently in the town center zone, you do not require it.
So, and we want to not include the town center
Hey,
zone?
my street's on there.
And I think
Why?
that's a question for you all.
Why is John Street on
I threw in some areas that Jeff and I had talked about that maybe should be
We
transitioned
do?
to town center residential, because they
Yeah.
are primarily residential, streets are narrow. There's some other complications back there. Think about back here on Center Street, we had the conversion of 25.
Yeah, you're
Ann
right,
Bowen
you
was
do,
gonna
'cause then you
convert
can
hers all
regulate
to
it. Yep,
multifamily.
gotcha. Thank you.
Again, I threw this on a map to start the conversation, and where you all want to take it.
What's your theory on drawing a line?
What's my theory on drawing? the
Yeah,
line?
we'll just draw a line, but like, what's our theory on like, why should that line be there and not extended?
It could be all of downtown, essentially, what you're saying.
It could be
I mean,
all of-
call it-
It could be.
Not downtown,
Yeah,
all those
Winston.
neighborhoods
Yeah.
around there.
It could be. Now, you.
Why not?
I grabbed Highland Lake Business except for that one parcel that I missed, because it's out on its own down there at the end of,
All the way to
the
Hobart
end
Street.
of Lake, the Beast Lake.
How'd that get in there?
No.
What is that?
It's the old Bruno.
That's LaPointe's.
No. Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, great.
There's LaPointe's.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think, right, to Rista's point, right now, we don't require parking in town center at all. And maybe we continue to keep town center zone out entirely. We had talked about, some of these streets kind of behind town hall here, and they're narrow, and it's mostly residential. Maybe they don't really belong in town center, or maybe those are areas in town center where we should regulate parking. you know, I leave that up to you. You all are the local experts. You know, I defer to you.
Considered one area?
Those
The
are
way I have it drawn right now,
two
it's two
different ones,
separate.
yeah.
They're two separate. So-
But each one could be bigger. I mean,
Oh,
we
yeah,
could-
each one of
We
those
could
is-
really regulate the whole town,
Yeah.
just as we're doing now.
They're each about,
But
one's
we're
about
only allowed
130
two
acres.
zones, right?
Correct.
Right, so we had to, we
But
do the
each one
first
of
one,
them
we have to
can
be
be-
careful we do it, the first one correctly.
But each one of them can be 860 acres.
Oh, yeah, well, we could do
So
the
we
whole-
could do the whole town that
Yeah,
way.
basically.
Why wouldn't we want to do that?
It's up to you.
Can you argue why we wouldn't want to do that? In other words, it would remain just as it is now under the regs.
More or less.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the, I mean, if you exclude, yeah, if you excluded town center.
All right,
and-
so
and
what's the
sort of did
advantage of
everything
doing-
Is there areas where we want to encourage these types of housing?
Encourage what?
Encourage this type of housing?
Well, this isn't about, is this about the housing? I thought this was
This is
about the parking.
The parking that goes with the housing.
Parking that would go with any
So I can
development.
see some of the buildings in back here, back at the town hall, eventually getting torn down and taking advantage of the increased sizes. You know, some of those on Elm Street,
Bigger
some of
apartment
those.
buildings?
Yeah.
T-Bow and Greenwoods, both of
There's
those.
one of those discussions already happening for properties on Thibault,
So.
which is a
and
very
with the-
narrow.
With the lack of parking in this town, you know, everybody complains there's no parking. So where are those people and how are those people that live in those units gonna park? So.
Well, that's the point. We want to control that instead of this statute which says you don't have
need
to
any.
have all that parking. We want to make sure we have
All
enough
it's not
parking for
16,
everybody who lives there. Instead of go this route, which says, we're going to let more people live here, but we're not going to have as much parking.
But that's why we have the parking overlays on.
Exactly, but that's why I'm saying extend it,
Oh,
so you have it everywhere.
Then I guess you go all the way to Route 800.
If we have the acreage to do it, why wouldn't we do that?
So one of the things, I mean, if the commission wants to, one thing to think about, you know, I was sort of focused on the areas that are eligible for the middle housing and the mixed-use developments because it's higher density. But if the commission wants to extend, what did we say, town center residential and potentially town single family, if we wanted to extend the middle housing out into TCR and TSF, those two, then you might want to extend this zone into as much of those two underlying zones as you can. Because there are a lot of small lots, especially in town single family, which if you, you know, start to have 7, 8, 9 unit buildings go up, you might want some control on the parking there.
But
Some defined control. But
I wanted, I don't have, I wish I brought it with me. The statute says, isn't there something in there about the purpose, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm
it
sure
has to
there
be
is.
tied to,
like a traffic mitigation.
right. And I think you could make the argument for a lot of these areas that we don't have provisions for on-street parking. We do not have substantial public parking lots for people to use. We don't have transit. You know, we don't have bus lines running through. So, no, we're not gonna extend this out into rural residential. It doesn't make sense. You know, we can't justify that to the state. But I think with a lot of these streets in and around the downtown area, I think we could probably justify it. And I think there, you're trying to prevent on-street parking where it's not allowed or where it's not practical because of width. And you need to be able to get fire trucks through, and you need to public access and all those types of things. So I think we can justify it easily enough.
And I would veer more towards like the town, single family, like that, you know, Oak Street, Walnut Street, that kind of denser neighborhood, more so than even town center, because we do have a few municipal lots, we do allow on-street parking,
Yep.
you know. I think.
Well, that doesn't preclude us from allowing that, right?
No.
Having it, right. So it doesn't affect that. By having that doesn't, the overlay lets us decide what we're gonna do in the center of town vis-à-vis parking.
But we already don't
Correct.
require parking.
We already what?
don't require parking.
Yeah, in the town center
Center
zone,
zone.
which is the red
Yeah.
on the screen, you already do
The
not
Main
require
Street.
parking.
Oh,
but-
yeah, right.
Which isn't, most of it isn't included in either of the zones here,
Right.
proposed zones.
Gotcha, yeah.
So if we made that line come down Hinsdale Avenue, across High Street, not Hinsdale, what's this street? Hinsdale Avenue, across High Street, drop down to Center Street, and like go that way. That's gonna preserve Main Street the way it is, and it's gonna gather up a bunch of these houses, properties that are potentially in need of parking. Because right now, some of the line, I mean, there was no criteria when you drew it, right? You just kind of drew it?
Like I said, I focused on some areas that Jeff and I had talked about previously.
So
Yeah.
right now, you got like, between Hinsdale Avenue, there's no streets in there. So we should like be going down on the street, or just the buildings on the other side of the street. Maybe that's what you did. You got the buildings on both sides of the street.
Yeah. Well, and I focused on the zone. I mean, in
Okay.
there, you know, it's, I grabbed the town center zone because you allow, I think you allow multifamily in town center zone. So it's, you know, it's already allows some density. And so I think I grabbed that zone for the most part, because you already allow some density. The streets are kind of narrow back there.
And not to confuse this discussion, but some of the upper town center, so the red you see on the bottom of the upper parking mitigation zone, we've been talking about possibly rezoning those anyway, because they logistically aren't really part of the town center. So that's a different thought exercise, but that, it makes more sense if you think about it that way.
Are you splitting the lots?
Ideally not.
No, ideally not. And
So that black line is the lot lines?
yes, it should be. It may not be perfect. I gotta clean it up.
How permanent is this?
I didn't know if they were just long lots.
There are some longer ones. in there.
So just as long as they follow the rules.
Yeah.
How permanent is this, when we're gonna set these lines? You say this is it?
You know, it's a
We're allowed
zoning
to change it
regulation.
every 5 years?
No, I mean, I don't know that there's real clarity that says you can't. Jeff just asked me the same question, like one and done, right? And
How can you not?
I don't think it's one and done. It's a zoning regulation, it's an overlay zone. You can change it.
Yeah.
You know, if you add to it, great. If you remove it, then of course, you know.
Oh,
however
I
you-
thought it was a one and done.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
That's-
No,
That was my thoughts on it. Once you did it, that was it.
because you don't need DOH approval for this.
No, you don't need approval. We have to tell them. We have to tell OPM that we created the zone, but we don't need their approval. And it's a zoning, it's an overlay zone. So you have discretion there. So I think you can shift it as much as you want. You just have the parameter of it can't be more than 4% of your land.
4% twice.
4% twice.
And I would document, document the record with enough information of why we chose this, so that if we ever denied something and it went to appeal, this was never an issue in an appeal.
Yeah, wasn't
Right,
arbitrary.
but I think I interpret it the same way, that it's just an overlay and it could be like any other, it's a zoning map change.
Yeah, and, you know, I've had conversations with other towns about, you know, I've sort of had the conversation, well, let's max out the 8%, and my statement has been, you know, maybe you don't max it out, because then there's no room for growth. You know, I used to do lighting design when I was in high school and college, and when the director says, I want full bright light, you set it at 80%, because they always want more. So same idea here, you know, maybe we don't go to 8%, maybe we go to 6%, because if we need a little bit more later, we have some wiggle room.
But I also think, like, this whole thing, we've talked about this a lot, and I think you just mentioned it, right? Developers are gonna come up with the number of parking spots that they need, because that's how they're gonna rent out their units. There is some level that this is going to be kind of managed, but I think that there's some places in certain towns, including Winston, where on-street parking and different demands impact the neighborhoods differently, right? You know, I think it's very different, even, you know, over by Pearson where there's a school and everything else, maybe instead of up by Colony Drive, or, you know, those neighborhoods. So I think we should be thoughtful in like,
Oh, yeah.
I think they already do that, right, and they already.
where is this, and is it by the town center, you know, because this is where we expect there's gonna be the most highest density development. But, you know, even up by me, if you look at, Upson Avenue and Lewis Street, all of those has turned into rental properties, and there are cars on both sides of the street, and they're, like, to me, those are the neighborhoods, I think, that are more maybe impactful, if we're looking at town single-family residential, and we can draw the connection versus like our main streets and our, not that they're not impactful, but like, how do we wanna look at it?
Different ballgame, you know?
How do we wanna think about it?
All right, so under that example, you'd want this overlay extended to there? So that we can have more, retain more control of what the parking requirements are?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we, yeah, yeah.
I agree,
Definitely.
yeah,
Gotta expand it.
yeah. And we got plenty of room.
Yeah, plenty of room to grow.
So what I would ask of you then, and this is just kind of a broad ask, but throw some street names either into an email back to me or back, yeah, I think probably that's the easiest thing to do. Throw some street names into an email back to me, you know, over the next couple of days as you think this through, and then I can adjust the map accordingly. You know, like I said, you guys are the local experts, you live here, you drive down these streets, you live on these streets.
Everything inside the city limits.
Yeah,
Well,
That's the easy way.
Yeah.
Really.
yeah, the old square of Winstead, everything in there. 2 overlay
it
zones.
might be too big, I mean, I don't know, it might be too big, but.
No.
It's practically that.
Yeah, I
We'll
guess you're
carve
right.
out the 44 corridor.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right, yeah, you're
One
right.
north and one south.
Well, we should look at it.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
that's just-
I think Rista's right. I think we want to be a little bit more strategic than
Yes,
just.
we have to be very, think about this,
Yeah.
because
Definitely.
like even looking here, I'm seeing some places, like I pointed out, I don't think that's what we really wanted to do.
Yeah.
But this past winter, with the 2 big snowstorms and all the debacle in town with off-street parking and cars getting towed, I think we had to look forward and say, hey, how do we control this in the future?
Let's not make it worse.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, now, where are we?
So my last question to you all on this topic is, do you want us to include this on the agenda for next Monday, or do you
No.
want to just get in and out next
Get
Monday?
in and out.
Okay.
Yeah.
May
When
18th.
do
it is.
when do you anticipate a public hearing?
When we're ready with something that we can move
Public-
forward.
public hearing.
Let's, you know,
We're
let's
not-
get a consensus, let's get some comments back on the regs, let's, you know, get a map that everybody can kind of get on board with, you know,
And what session
This won't be
closes
driveway
May
2.0.
4th this year?
something like that.
And,
Driveway
um,
2.0.
I'm
right?
hearing there's gonna be an extension to these regs, so, but we'll know by May.
I also don't wanna drag, but,
No,
yeah,
but-
let's see where we
Shake
are.
it back up on us.
I
But
know,
at
that's the
least we'll
problem.
have some time, we
Yeah.
won't
Yeah,
feel
well,
like
by
we're
middle of
pressured
May.
with public hearings even now, we're
Right,
close.
right.
All right, so we're off to number 7, other business. All right. We need some pushing done on the marina. We need site plan and special permits for 170 West Lake Street, which is Union Pin property, because that's been, we did the zone changes and he never did this. Now, we also need it on 159 Lake Street for boat storage. We need it on 165 Lake Street for boat storage, because I took these numbers off the GIS maps. And we also need it for 220 East Lake Street for the rear for boat storage. because he's doing boat storage on all those properties without a special permit, and boat storage is boat storage is a special permit.
Thank you.
So we need those, so we gotta keep pressure on him. And then the other thing is, where he tore down the building, he put the millings in and created a parking lot on top of a building. Now, that was never parking to begin with, and he's parking on it.
So we've been in touch with him, and he's hired an engineer, local engineer, as you all know, to do a site plan for that. I actually had a conversation with the local engineer last week. It must have been the week before last. Yeah, so a week and a half ago. And yeah, that's in the works. You will have something here. I don't know if you'll have it for your May 18th meeting, but we're gonna push for at least to get an application.
What
in
about those other
by
properties where he's got boat storage?
That we'll have to look at that.
We're gonna, it's either he gets a special permit or he stops storing boats there.
I think the goal is to get his boat storage out of there.
I know.
Yeah, we'll look into that one.
It's expanded.
Just drive up and look now to see where all the boats are
It's all
stored.
expanded, and I didn't realize it, took all those properties.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll look into it.
And then, and I'd like to keep this on other business until this is addressed. And then, 2 East Lake Street, the Point Building.
Yes.
Yes.
I happened to be driving by as they were erecting the new signage for the storage, so I was able to get right on top of that.
Where is this?
La Pointe's, old Bruno's Market.
Oh.
Without contacting anyone in the office, he decided to change or add a business model of self-storage to the building. I explained to him that that is not an allowed use in the district. I gave him the whole cut sheet of what is allowed, asked him to review it, get back to me, and he said, yeah, I don't think any of those are gonna work for me. So what do I need to do? I said, well, you can ask the commission to add it as a use. I don't think it's gonna work for you, but you're free to ask. And he said, well, that's what we're gonna do. So according to him, no customers are in there yet. There was minimal interior fit out required for it, which again would have been done without permits. But he doesn't, it's not operational yet. He is in South Carolina now. His attorney may start on the application process without him here, but in any event, he will be coming before you, asking for this to be an added use in Highland Lake Business District, and we will go from there.
Okay, but he could still rent, possibly rent now?
No.
He's not going to rent?
Not according to him. I did not serve him with a cease and desist or anything like that.
There should be a letter coming from the town stating you cannot rent until you get approvals.
I'll follow up with a letter.
Until you get approvals, at least it's in writing,
Yep,
so we have a leg to stand on,
you got it.
otherwise he'll be denying it.
Yeah, I have email correspondence, so it is documented, but
Okay.
I'll get a letter
Yeah.
out to him as well.
Anybody got anything else for other business?
Did you get a chance to drive by Main Street, 142 Main today?
Yes, I did. I got my pictures taken today. I didn't get any further than that.
Yeah, well-
Also got pictures of the logging operation.
Yeah, you
I
like
didn't
that
get any further
farming,
with that.
farming operation, yeah.
Well, it is, a recognized agricultural, but the
It's not
operation
being
that's
harvested
there.
from the property, it's a commercial.
Oh, those are being dropped there?
What's that?
The
They're
logs
all-
are being brought in?
They're all being brought in by log
Okay,
truck.
well, that changes things for
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not being cut from the property.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I just
Yeah.
started my
No,
investigation
I
today.
just bringing it up for discussion for the group, so
Yeah.
they're aware of it, but, yeah, because I'm sure he's gonna right away pull the farming.
Next to the Morse Lawn?
What's that address?
It's on address, but it's
Corner
directly.
Laurel Way and 263.
Yeah.
Take a
Dumpster's
left on
going
Laurel
next
Way
to
and
that.
it's the lot right there.
So he didn't do what
Yep.
he was, said here he was gonna do? Okay.
He's got huge pile of cordwood logs that have been brought in there by truck.
Oh, he switched gears. 142 was the earlier discussion. Now we're talking about a
So-
rural residential piece.
Was there any conditions on the dumpster being there?
Are we still talking 142?
We are now again.
On
Okay.
142?
Well,
I
the
went
conditions
look-
are if it's gonna be there, it needs to be enclosed properly. I noticed
Right.
when I was there today that they now have traditional garbage totes.
Right.
So I think he's off the dumpster, but the dilapidated enclosure remains. That's full of other junk. That was
What
part of the
one's
pictures that I
142
took.
Lawn furniture.
Jesse's.
Remember Scott did? Yeah, Jesse's.
Jesse's.
that'll-
The fence
Jesse's.
looks like it's falling.
The fence sure has fallen down. That was also documented today with photos.
all
Okay.
about it.
Well, that's enforcement, so he'll get on that, right?
Yeah.
It's blighted, let's put it this way.
Yeah, it's right back to, well, not as bad, but
Well, pretty close.
Did he sell it?
The fences are.
new owner, right.
Yeah.
When I originally reached out to him, he said, give me a little time. Well, he's had a little time, so that's over.
Too much time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. Now we're on to number 8, approval of the April 13th, 2026 regular meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of April 13th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Wow, it's 9:30?
You set a record last meeting.
I know.
We're making up for
I got
it.
credit, I got credit built in. So your number 9, communications with the Main Street Promise Program.
Yeah, we don't need to belabor this tonight. I provide you with some information there, emails back and forth with folks at Connecticut Main Street, as well as just a print off of the webpage in question. Winstead is going to be starting the operation here with them, and you'll see in the email that a date has been set, May 27th at 10 a.m. For a working group, and I thought it might not be a bad idea to have some representation from P&Z. So if any of you are available,
May
and
22nd.
willing, and able, May 27 at 10 a.m. This room. Yeah.
That'd be phase 2 of the program.
Yeah, so the Promise
27?
program did start and kind of stop and is restarting now. We're gonna be picking up, what did we say? With the Main Street Momentum portion, the downtown walking tour and such has already happened in the past, and we're re-energizing this.
Yeah, so a little bit, we at the NHCOG developed the Main Street Promise Program, and we did 17 assessments. Winston was one of you. I think a lot of you were on that walk, which was great. And we figured out, we noticed a common theme throughout those assessments was that towns didn't have an identity. No town was like, we are the best place for this. They were like, we're the crossroads of, we're the gateway to, and no identity. So we said, well, you know what, we need to fix that. So we said every town is a shining star, together we're a constellation, and tell us what makes you your star. So Connecticut Main Street came up with this whole visioning session plan, and it's really cool. So we launched it, we did it, and like only a handful of towns showed up. Some of Winston showed up, but it didn't really go anywhere, and we were like, we have to go back a step further, because towns don't even have the capacity or the ability or the expertise in place to be working together to develop a vision to then implement it. So Connecticut Main Street created a whole series of workshops, starting from towns that don't have any working groups to towns that have some kind of working groups that are there but maybe not working cohesive, right through to fully functioning groups that are going to create visions and implementation. So we finally launched those, we finally got the funding in place for that, and I think Winston is our first town.
Oh, wow, there you go.
We have 5 scheduled, but Winston's is scheduled first. And I think building momentum is the right workshop for Winston, because what I've seen is we have so many people that are interested, right? Like planning and zoning wants to do something, and the EDC wants to do something, and the Board of Selectmen are interested, and Friends of Main Street are interested, but nobody is working together, and nobody has a vision. So we're all like kind of doing our own thing, but we're not really. So I think this will help bring all of those pieces together, get people working together, build lines of communication, so that we can do the hard work of managing a Main Street more effectively.
So if you want to attend, let me know. I'll put you on the list.
All right.
More the merrier.
I'll attend.
More the merrier, business owners, anybody who can
Yep.
attend.
And I brought this to EDC last Tuesday at their meeting, so we should get good representation there, and then we, need to branch out and everything too, so.
Yeah.
Starting to see little signs in the median strip there. I saw one the other day. I think about a Restaurant Mile or something. I mean, we got the Music Mile they talk about. We used to have the Antique Center, and now I saw another one which was weird. I just drove by and I forget exactly what it said. It was something new about another mile on Main Street.
Huh. I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, so there is some activity. We all done with that one? All right.
Yeah,
Number 10, motion to adjourn.
that's the good one.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. 9:30.